Today, and they came early today to run through some sets. It's an open.
Let's go.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Let's go.
Welcome, Raptor fans. I'll apologize in advance. A little bit of audio here. I'm just muting Leo for a sec there. He's got a lot of background noise. He is at the arena just watching the Toronto Raptors, having lost a game that probably shouldn't have been that close, but the Raptors rally super late. Let me unmute him here. Leo, how you doing?
Man, what a game, bro. It was just up and down. Like you said, it was a blowout for most of the time. And then the Raptors, they are extremely mentally tough, led by Scottie Barnes, who made some really impressive plays. I think watching him in person gives you a different perspective of how good and like all the little things he does in terms of winning basketball. And for me to watch that, it was awesome. Obviously, watching De'Aaron Fox every night is amazing too. So having to see both of those guys who I truly respect on the same court, it was a blast tonight, bro.
You watch De'Aaron Fox a lot more than most of us, and probably a lot more than most people in the NBA. Would you, if you were the Raptors coach, would you have assigned Scottie Barnes as his primary defender? Say it with a straight face.
Really? I would have, because what that did, I think in theory, it was supposed to work a little bit better. When the Raptors cut the lead to 4, I think, to 4, or was it 4-3? And then the lead just popped to like 20 within 4 minutes at the end of that first half. There are moments where the Kings kind of struggle with length. So I think what he saw on the film was like, let's use them as a decoy. Obviously, nobody can really guard Fox. So to be fair, but I just feel like if you put that type of length, because it's already been proven that if you put like a McDaniels on the Fox, a Suggs, like those types of guys.
Just for our audience, you're saying Jaden McDaniels, not Jalen McDaniels. Good. If you put Jalen McDaniels,
the other guy,
De'Aaron Fox will go off for 185 points. Okay, let's go.
So like if you put those types of guys on Fox, they have, he struggled against those guys, and struggling like 20 points on 20 shots. Like he's still gonna get points like anybody else, but the idea here was to make his life difficult by putting a guy who's super smart, like a Scottie Barnes, who understands angles. Yes, he gets blown by easily, but he recovers well. Now, I think the adjustment was kind of having them off, playing safety a little bit. Like in the fourth quarter when he got that block on Sabonis, he just baited him to do that, and that's Scottie Barnes recognizing and adjusting to the adjustments. So it's just it was a chess match for sure from coach, the Raptors coach. So I understand why he did it. Did it work out the way he wanted it to? No.
Right. This is a call-in show, so if people have something to say, you can definitely call in. You can ask Leo, myself, anyone who's not familiar. Leo runs Basketball Zone. Definitely go over there and give them some love. Give them a subscribe. Awesome channel, covers the Kings. Leo, to those of you who know him from last year, we had a talk about the Raptors when things were going wrong with the Raptors. Now he's seeing the Raptors' next iteration with RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley. How did they look tonight?
Well, if you guys looked on my channel, I posted that clip of RJ shooting threes. His jumper looks smoother than what, obviously, I didn't watch him a ton in New York, but his shot looks good. My biggest concern about him is tunnel vision of once he's decided to go, I don't care if he has 4 people on him, he's just gonna go through you and tumble through you and just throw some shit up, which we saw some of that tonight as well. So that really hasn't changed. Those are bad habits that you develop in AAU, coming up, college, all those things. Always being the star player, being pampered that way. So those habits haven't changed. Will they change? Who knows?
I have a feeling they will. I think there was a
You think
lot of
so?
tunnel. There was a lot of tunnel vision to go around today. So let's just talk about the game a little bit here. Let's pull it up. A lot of blowouts tonight in the NBA.
Tell me about it.
Most games were
Fuck
not
the
close.
Pelicans.
Okay, but you know what's funny? The Kings were 4.5 favorites coming into this
covered.
game, and they covered by one, exactly covered. Okay, that's
half a point.
That's hilarious. Okay, so in terms of who popped and who didn't, let's just take a look here. Pascal Siakam with 18 points on 6 for 11. He doesn't attempt a single three. Sorry, Leo, I'm going to put you on mute because you got a noise back there for a sec. Or if you can just put yourself on mute so that you can unmute yourself. Can you do that? Just unmute yourself. Just mute yourself when you're not. Thank you so much. Scottie Barnes with 20 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. The Raptors get crushed on the glass. Absolutely. Domantas Sabonis 8. And I think Keegan Murray was really impactful there too. Jakob Poeltl with 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. I think he had a better second half than first half. I think he really struggled. RJ Barrett really had his minutes cut tonight, 27 minutes, 14 points. He remains efficient. He continues to shoot reasonably better than he shot in New York. And I think that's a positive. He got to the line a couple times tonight, which was good, 4 attempts. Immanuel Quickley, I think some people are going to say, they're going to look at that last shot. They're going to look at some of the fourth quarter decision making. Please understand, this is not a prototypical point guard. This is not a guy who has had the ball in his hands to be the primary option as a lead guard, lead initiator. He's not that type of point guard. They're trying to grow him into one, and I think that's part of the development curve with him. So you're going to go through some rough patches. I think overall he was positive, but obviously, post-entry passes, second side action, he's going to have some delays when you're comparing him to guys who are more practiced in that role. So I think you need to be a little bit patient, Toronto. Chris Boucher, man, what a game. What a frigging game. I was listening to someone tell me that they think that a contender should make a run at him if the Raptors fall out of the playoff race. I completely agree. Just a guy who goes out and gives it his all. I would build a statue of him in Toronto right now, just based on how hard he plays. I mean, please understand, this is like he outworked pretty much every single person in the gym tonight with his slight frame. And he was so impactful, and he changed the chemistry of the game. And I think he was so instrumental in that run that the Raptors put together.
I think the Kings should go after him. Like, that's a guy that I think is doable. I think the whole Siakam reports, it's all a leverage play, which we can get into, which literally I was right there next to
will
Bobby.
talk.
Yeah, I was next to Bobby and Messiah. So it's like a bunch of bullshit. But, it's part of the game that they're playing for sure.
Bro, they didn't come there to play the Kings. They came there to drop Siakam off, bro. Okay. Just a goodbye party, and he can have his pizza party at Medici, Okay. Why is Ron Harper Jr. on our roster, bro? ESPN, update your shit. What the fuck? They just put him in the game. We waived him like a month ago. It's just funny. Speaking of guys coming off the bench, Dennis Schroeder with a third straight beautiful effort off the bench. I think he was very good. I think he got off the ball quickly. I think he probably did about as good a job against De'Aaron Fox as just about anybody. I'll have to look at the tape, but I think he was just very instrumental. He misses all of his threes. Guess what? Those are the only shots he missed all night. He missed all 4 of his threes. He made all 7 of his 2s. And he had 3 assists, which means he wasn't dominating possessions, and he was operating in a role that he is much more familiar with, going back to his OKC days, which is like a 6-man spark plug scorer who disrupts who can disrupt the defense and, take some of those gaps that are being created by better players. And I think that was the problem earlier for the Raptors, is he was one of your better players, whereas now getting guys like, Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, not that I necessarily think RJ Barrett is a better player than him right now, but he's certainly up on him in terms of the pecking order in the starting lineup. And so I think that just sort of reshuffles the deck a little bit. Obviously, Darko continues to use Dennis Schroeder as a bit of a binky blanket because he does play, the fourth most minutes on your team despite coming off the bench. And he pulled him in at the 9:40 mark in the third quarter because things started going really bad for the Raptors. On the Kings side, before we
He
talk
was
about
good though. Let's be honest.
he was great. He was great. I have no
Dennis was
complaints.
really good today. I watched him. This is the Dennis I was telling you about. If you put him in that backup role, he's a lot better than what he has been as a starter. So
I agree.
I would love
completely.
him here. I think he'd be a great backup to De'Aaron Fox, in my opinion. So we can do a little Dennis and Boucher.
Okay,
I'm down
to
for
those
that.
to those of you who are going to stick around, Leo and I are definitely going to fire up the trade machine at some point and see if we can make some deal work for sure. Not really sure, obviously if this deal was last year and we still had OG, maybe Keegan Murray was still in the talks, but Keegan Murray's off the table right now, and I think Raptor fans can understand a little bit tonight why he had.
What did you think of HB though tonight? Because I know HB was showcasing himself to the Raptors.
Oh, great showcase. Loved him. Okay, Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis continues to be the nightmare that will haunt the Raptors for all time. If there's a stat on the number of turnovers one player averages against one team, I think Sabonis averages 150 turnovers a game against us. He had an 8 turnover game, I think last year, or 9 turnover game. He had 6 turnovers today. That's crazy. Length bothers Sabonis, but he has a triple-double tonight and a very impactful triple-double, not one of those soft bullshit triple-doubles. 24 points, 15 rebounds, 11 assists. I think he was, honestly, he just bullied the Raptors. And it wasn't real. It's kind of funny? Scottie was probably his best matchup. If they put Scottie on him earlier, because Scottie's pickup point is a lot higher, I think because, we go drop coverage with Jakob so often, he gets ahead of steam and he comes into the back and he just has to give one little shoulder nudge and boom, he's right into the front of the rim. So I think playing him like a non-shooter is fair, but playing him like a player, he almost reminds me a little bit of Ben Simmons right now offensively in terms of some of the stuff he's doing, So that's not shade on Domantas Sabonis, nor is it praise for Ben Simmons. I just mean that downhill attack that he's doing, the attack, gather, dribble, drive game. You just can't play completely off a player like that. In terms of,
has five people that came to see him. He's talking to them right now. I had no idea he had this type of fan base. It's people are coming up to him he's a rock star.
He's 7 feet tall.
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Okay. They're you playing the NBA? Great. Autograph time. Okay. De'Aaron Fox, 10 for 20. I've seen him pop off more than this. Certainly this is below his season average, 24 points per game. I think if you're Leo, can you put yourself on mute? Just the noise. One sec. Thanks, man. I think with De'Aaron Fox, 24 points and 4 assists, 2 rebounds. This is a soft game for De'Aaron Fox. I think if you're the Raptors, you probably say you did a good job with him. I think you probably, really kick yourself for the job you did with everybody else. Domantas Sabonis, again, as I mentioned, just goes off. Keegan Murray was instrumental in building up that huge lead. He goes 4 for 4 from 3. I think his defense was impeccable. Leo turned me on to his defensive improvements earlier in the season. I wasn't seeing it. He showed me some film. I started to look more into the tape. He's a much better defender this year, and he has the size and length to be a very disruptive defender. He forced an air ball on Siakam in the paint there. I think he was just really good. Chris Duarte, another guy that I'm not very high on, but tonight he played really well. He was huge for them, and defensively, he's the guy who gets the stop at the end of the game on that game winner. In terms of the bench production, I hope Trey Lyles is okay. He had that nasty turn because De'Aaron Fox falls down, gets up real quick because Chris Boucher, there's another secret, Chris Boucher kind of creating chaos on Team Canada right now for Trey Lyles. But Canadian on Canadian crime there. Trey Lyles with 12 points. I think his spacing was incredible. And this is a guy who's just, a lot of people had a lot of expectations for him earlier in his career. And it took a while, and now he's turned it around, and I think he's been a really valuable contributor. The Davion Mitchell experience, 3 for 8, 7 points, 11 minutes. That's pretty much what you expect. I think he was pretty disruptive and tried to be at least. Malik Monk, 15 points, huge dunk. I think, again, I've watched a lot of Malik Monk this year. 15 points, 9 assists, 32 minutes on 6 for 16 shooting. This is a guy who can certainly kill you a lot more than that. And if this was an exhibit for Kevin Huerter, not the best exhibit necessarily, but I think he was very instrumental in when he cuts, the Raptors respond. When he moves through the paint, the Raptors have to follow. And I think it shifts your defense enough so that it creates miscommunications, especially for a team like the Raptors that doesn't communicate well on defense anyways. In terms of the team stats, I shudder to look. But, I don't want to see your three-point shooting percentage, man, but it was bad. The Kings shoot 55% from three because the Raptors they're late. Their defense was hapless tonight. It was ridiculous. The Raptors actually outshoot the Kings from the field. Doesn't matter, though, because they attempted 13 more shots. Nick Nurse special. 42 rebounds. Honestly, 11 rebounds to 8. This could have been 15 to 2 if Chris Boucher doesn't come into the game and really change the complexion of this game. 35 assists to 31. The Raptors like to be higher up in assists. They're fourth in the league in assists. I think this is a low game for them. I think there was a lot of one-on-one stuff, a lot of holding onto the ball, and we'll certainly talk about that. Points in the paint. The Raptors win that battle, which is surprising, but ultimately not that surprising given how many threes the Kings hit. But if you're counting, you attempted almost as many threes as the Kings. You just didn't make as many. So that's the gap in this game. All in all said, you win the fourth quarter, you win the third quarter. You just dug yourself such a hole in the first half. The Raptors were down by 20 at the end of the half. So they clawed, but it was a little bit too much, a little bit too late. That final play, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Jonte Porter, and let's talk about Pascal Siakam, because I think those are the three, and let's talk about Scottie Barnes not taking a single shot in the fourth quarter. I believe he did not attempt a single shot in the fourth quarter. Real quick, the Raptors needed to find Scottie earlier, and Darko needed to get him in the game earlier. He didn't, and they didn't. And the one time they did find him on the left block, he swung it across the court to Immanuel Quickley for an open three, and it was probably the most open three Immanuel Quickley had all night. I think the Raptors went through Siakam and RJ Barrett a little bit too much tonight. I mean, Quickley as well. None of these guys are as good at creating passes and advantages through passes as Scottie. So I don't really care if Scottie takes 10 shots, 8 shots, 15 shots, 25 shots. You need to get him the ball because he can create better than almost everyone. I think he himself was a little bit out of sorts tonight. He was really reactive to the refs. He's been doing this for a few games now. He's just been really, really agitated. And the problem with Scottie is he gets agitated on one end and then he carries it back to the other end. And then there's a defensive miscommunication or there's a closeout. He just doesn't. And I get it. You don't need to close out to Davion Mitchell, but you do need to box out when he misses, inevitably. And he will miss a lot. So, the Davion Mitchell strays are just, we got to talk some shit about the Kings. You can't just be the greatest team in the world. We got to take some digs. And Jonte Porter comes in. I just rejoice. 10 points in 13 minutes. I understand he gives up a lot defensively. He doesn't have the longest wingspan. He's not really a shot blocker, whatever. But I think that he was very smart, very effective. He moved without the basketball. This is the type of value that some good teams get from their two-way contracts. The Raptors don't, but the Raptors did tonight. They got actual production from a frigging two-way contract. Thank God. To the final play, I hate that play. I absolutely hate that play. No movement. You have an off-balance three. I understand you got the ball to your best three-point shooter, but I'd like to see that coming off some movement. I would like to see that coming off a screen. I understand, I'd like to see him get a screen to be able to take that. I understand sometimes you don't want to risk maybe an offensive foul in that case. You just want to clear out, give it to your best guy who can create that. But even if you were to send it to Scottie and then Scottie was to find Immanuel Quickley, I just think that you're putting a guy against a bigger defender like Chris Duarte, who's probably the Kings' best matchup in that situation. Not saying he's their best perimeter defender, but in that situation to stay with Quickley, probably their best option. You don't even try to force a switch. You don't create anything off the ball. You just hand it to him 25 feet from the basket, 30 feet from the basket, and say, go do something. And if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. And I just think that is, not the right move. And, to the Siakam creation stuff, man, the number of times Pascal Siakam misses an open man is borderline ridiculous. The number of times he missed Chris Boucher in transition or Jakob flashing under the rim or a shooter popping up, I mean, look, I'm watching the game. I see all of it. Okay. And he's not the only one who missed guys tonight. There was a play where Scottie Barnes goes and he picks up an offensive foul. I think it was on Trey Lyles, right? Where he wipes his face or whatever. Jonte Porter was popping up right there. He was wide open. Scottie is not a guy who typically gets tunnel vision. RJ and Pascal are. When they put their head down and they go into their bag, they're like, this is the play where I'm going to drive and kick. Not realizing that somewhere in the middle of your initiation of your drive, the defense might fall asleep and someone cuts back door and you don't see it. May I also say the play of the night to me is Chris Boucher stealing the ball from his own teammate. Immanuel Quickley throws an alley-oop for Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes jumps. Chris Boucher says, not on my watch. He decides to take it. Anyways, overall, I think not a great coaching performance. I don't like Siakam's defense. I think his communication was really poor. I don't want to see Jalen McDaniels in a game ever again in my life. ESPN, get your shit together with this Ron Harper Jr. shit. Okay, Leo, unmute yourself, please. And yeah, let's.
Yeah, so lots of great points there. I'm reading some of the comments right now. It's like a party out here still. Like it's ridiculous. I don't know what time it's gonna end, so you might see some Dougie music coming on in the background. To your point, someone's saying that Scottie had a minus 23 for the game. Well, again, like Coach Darko put him in a situation to guard De'Aaron Fox, so that wasn't. It's not gonna be good for his plus minus.
He also played with Jalen McDaniels. He played those minutes with Jalen McDaniels.
That too. So that matters. Like context of a plus minus always matters. Rob and I always talk about that. But if you truly watched it, Scottie had a positive impact. What did he finish with today?
He had 20. Let me see here. So he had 26 and 4. Yeah, 26 and 4 on 8 for 15. He had 4 threes. I mean, like shut up with this. And honestly, like, people saying box plus minus is a very different stat than estimated plus minus, which is a very different stat than a plus minus stat on a box score. Okay. Yes. The plus minus stat on the box score is meaningless. It's almost meaningless. If I play on the court, like if prime Michael Jordan had to share minutes with me on an NBA basketball court, he would be negative 85 in one game. Because whoever has me would cook me all game. Right. That's the point. So that's not it. Box plus minus filters through that and it talks about your individual contribution to that specific box score. So yeah, I think that's important.
Someone said that Chris Paul got injured, and we if you want, let's just move into that because
the trades or what's going on, the dumpster fire that is the Golden State Warriors right now.
Right. So if Chris Paul got hurt, that's a great salary filler. For the inevitable Kuminga and Moody deal that's going to happen to the Raptors if the Pacers don't come into play first. So I don't know how you feel about whether the Pacers have a better offer or I like the Warriors offer. If I'm being honest, I think Moody's a player. I think Kuminga is all upside, but he can still contribute to whatever you guys are doing now. So
yeah, no, I fully agree. I'm trying to think like what to do first because it's pretty late here. It's 1:11 a.m. here on our time. I wanna respect the people who called in early, and I want to just get like a couple of them on. Let's just hear from them quickly, and then what we'll do is after that we will go into the trade talk.
Yep.
Of what's going around the NBA and what these various deals are. And I think with Siakam, it comes down to really 4 teams: Atlanta, Indiana on the East, and Golden State, Sacramento on the West. And, you got a firsthand look at him tonight. You got a firsthand look at Masai and Bobby. You could probably read their reactions. I'm sure you looked over at them a couple times. It'll be interesting. Some people I'm listening to are telling me Siakam probably won't be a Raptor next week.
They won't. He won't.
Okay. I think that's very interesting. Okay. Recruiter dude, man, what's going on, bro? Thanks a lot for waiting.
Leo, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I haven't seen you in a while, man. You doing good?
I'm doing good, bro. Baby's good. He's 17 months now, so I'm happy.
Your Kings are sexy. I believe you probably believe that Shams report for all of 3 seconds. I'm guessing today.
Bro, that shit was crazy. Like I was there when that broke, and like I'm right next to Bobby. Like and he was talking to Jordy, who coached Canada, and they're laughing and they're talking about Siakam, who was shooting And then the freaking tweet breaks out, and I'm just like, what the hell?
Wow.
Like, people are commenting on the videos and, oh, too late, the Kings are out. I'm like, how do you figure? Like, that was crazy.
No, you guys don't need him though. That's just
I'm not in love
smoke,
with it either. Yeah.
especially after that game. Rob, you made an observation that I wanted to bring up just briefly because I know you want to get on with everything. It was regarding Otto, and you said something insightful that it's a strong possibility that he's not playing because he's being conserved for like as a trade ballast or something, you know. And we don't know that 100%. You might have some nagging injuries. We don't know that, but let's say that you're right, and I think you are right. Okay. If that's the case, then this trade needs to happen soon, or they re-sign Siakam. I'm at a point where I'm almost like impartial because I could go either way, and I'll tell you why. You mentioned earlier in the live how that last play was just basically an abomination. Where is our $6 million, 39% veteran shooter on the corner in that play? I know we're not supposed to be. We're not here to win games. We're here to develop. I agree with you, right? But the Kings and Leo, I love your team. They almost gave that game away, and I'm pissed off right now. Like, where's Otto on that play? You know.
Well, if you believe the reports, he's nursing a knee sprain. Look, man, I think here's the larger point of this. This is chess, not checkers. We come out every single game. We watch every single game. We cover every single game. And thank you to the community, by the way, for getting us over 7,000 subs. It was very cool. Views have been popping off. Subscribers been growing. I'm glad. I'm glad that there's some energy around Raptorland. That's the point. They've been trying to trade Siakam for 3 years. So when it eventually happens, it'll be talked about as like it happened over a few days. These talks have been happening for 2.5 to 3 years.
I know.
Going right back to Scottie's draft onward. Funny. So the thing is that, you know, we may not understand why Thaddeus Young is sitting at the end of the bench making $8 million, or why we decided to even have him on the team, because we could have waived him for nothing. I think his $1 million was guaranteed. We allowed him to stay on the team to be guaranteed, to basically, you know, be possibly one of the worst players in the NBA right now. But Otto is not at that stage. He's not at the Thaddeus Young regression cycle stage. He's legitimately like a rotation player on a good team that could use him. Indiana could use him. Atlanta could use him. The Kings could use him so badly. He would immediately become your best defender. I'm not capping. I'm not kidding. In limited spurts, in the moments, like if you look at the defensive analytics on Otto, historically, he would be your best defender, regardless of how much progress Keegan has made. You're holding an ace, really, which is worth something as a sweetener in a deal for Siakam, right? So I think it's a longer-term vision than just one game or winning one game. Even, you know, having Immanuel Quickley take so many on-ball reps, right? Like, it's not helping you right now, right? It'd be so much easier to just hand the ball to Schroeder or Siakam or even Scottie and just have him run pistol action and just run off of them and run off screens. But you're trying to develop this for the future. Even like this year, you know, people say punt the year and go for your draft pick or whatever, but they're not thinking about that because they know that the data says that for you to win a championship, you need playoff scars. The earlier you get them, the better. This is why, you know, you could also look at OKC right now, and then people are saying, oh, they should put all their chips to the table, and they should. They're not winning a championship this year no matter what they do, unless what they do is like, I don't know, trade for LeBron James. They're not getting a championship. So it's like at some point you just need to see that a general manager or a president, especially one that's good, is not paid to react to the day-to-day. Some of them don't even watch games. That's true. Some of them don't. And they might, like, I think there's a general manager. I remember one general manager specifically, I won't name who, he told me he watches 20 to 22 games a year of his own team. So it doesn't really phase me too much, like the day-to-day. That's my job to talk about the day-to-day, what the Raptors can do, whatever. But these general managers and presidents, they are supposed to be thinking big picture stuff. They're supposed to be thinking, who is Scottie Barnes going to be 3 years from now? How do we build around that version of him? How do these pieces fit around him? They're not thinking about Otto Porter not playing on a random Saturday night. They just
No,
don't
that's
care.
true. No, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I mean, ultimately, a game was played tonight, and one team was up by 20 points, and somehow, and I think, and this isn't like, I don't want to cast aspersions against the Sacramento Kings. Like, I think they're an exciting team to watch. Like, I genuinely love how they play. Like, it's some of the most exciting basketball. The first half, Leo, was a masterclass. Like, they could have done that to the '96 Bulls. Like, they were playing, they were just like they were unstoppable, and that was the first 2 quarters. Like, it was beautiful basketball.
If I shake my head anymore, it will literally fall off my neck. Are you kidding me right now?
No, I'm not
Recruiter
kidding
dude.
you.
Our defense was hapless. You think you could do that to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? Stop.
They had us in 6s and 9s. They had great ball movement,
I'm not saying
great
they
point
gonna
of
stop
attack.
Michael. I'm just saying they gonna score on them for sure. For sure. For sure.
This is disrespectful.
With these rules?
This is disrespectful. This is so disrespectful.
With these rules? With like
The
no
same rules that got Sabonis fouled out too.
I'm sorry.
So-
If this was the '96 Bulls, Sabonis is in jail against. Oh my God, are we kidding here? Yo, you need to fire. You need to fire. Rodman would kill him. You're not getting offensive. You got offensive rebounds over Pascal Siakam.
Okay, I
Relax,
forgot about
bro.
Rodman. Okay,
Okay,
I was
you got
exaggerating.
Rodman, you got Harper, and that's not even to mention. I mean, they stopped Pascal Siakam and Scottie Barnes. Congratulations. You want to try start stopping Michael Jordan with De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray? I mean, bro, I think the Kings, this Kings team against that Bulls team, if that Bulls team was angry, would be down 30 at the half.
Every team in an 82 game season has a night, though. I mean, like, it was looking like one of those nights for the Kings. Like, they were just like.
But that's the problem.
On fire.
You have look. Every player in the league works on a rhythm. You get these guys a rhythm when you put Jalen McDaniels in the game with that lineup. Not to pick on Jalen McDaniels. Some people are saying his defense was pretty good. Leo, you were there.
Stop picking on him, Rob.
Okay. People are telling me on Twitter, they're like, oh, he played okay. I don't think he played okay. But I don't think Siakam played okay either. I think the Raptors just came out soft. And when you come out soft, you let the other team get to their spots clean. They start feeling good about themselves, and then the water's on. And when the water's on, you require force to turn it off. And that's force you wouldn't need if you never let it on in the first place. The whole thing about momentum is you don't let shooters get going. That's why people blitz Fred VanVleet, even when he's shooting 32% from 3. They don't want to see him they don't want to let him see 2 go in. That's the psychology of a shooter. You don't want to let a shooter see 2 go in. We let these guys just so comfortable. And then by the time Darko's calling us timeouts, what is he saying in these timeouts? Guys, we're professional basketball team. We need to defend these guys. They're not going to miss these shots by themselves. They're not you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's being said in these timeouts, bro. That's my question. Anyway,
we haven't been a good closeout that all year, so that obviously plays into it. But I mean, I'm not saying
we played hard defensively the last 2 games. We played hard.
We did.
And this game, I was like, yo, we need to organize a search party for our defense because I feel like we left it in Memphis or on the plane. Like, this was just. And I mean, the worst part is you're going up against a team that is good. The Kings are good.
But the Kings haven't beaten the Raptors in 3-4 years, I think.
6 years.
There you go. So I was shocked that they played this well, honestly, against the Raptors, who always give them issues. Always.
Well, I'm saying Sabonis plays like that. They can do well in the playoffs. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but they can win around.
Yeah.
Anyway. Thanks for having me on. I really look forward to you guys doing a little bit of trade talk. One last thing I want to just say, we cannot absorb another Barrett contract. And I'm not being antagonistic or throwing Barrett under the bus. He didn't have a good game today. I don't care about today. But I think one of the things that we have to watch out for is that money that matches Siakam's contract cannot be more than 2 years. Or at the most.
I would prefer expirings, to be honest. Can I ask you one final question before you step off?
Yeah.
So RJ Barrett went 4 for 8, 27 minutes. He had 4 rebounds. He had 14 points. To the casual fan watching at home, who's like, this guy hit 50% of his threes. Recruiter dude, what gives? He's a national treasure. Why do you think he did not have a good game?
I just don't think he was really that impactful, honestly. Was he even on in the fourth quarter at all at one point?
No. Someone's saying, I love OJ. He's our best defender. Oh.
I didn't feel RJ today. To your point, bro. Like
I don't know if he meant OG or
him.
RJ, or maybe he mixed them up into OJ.
Into OJ.
Leo, I wish you were on earlier so we could have done all the OG like prospective trades, but that ship sailed, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right though. I didn't look. There are nights where Sabonis gets a triple double, and I'm like, I didn't feel him tonight.
I felt it was tonight.
No, tonight you felt him, but there are nights where again people just watch or just see a box score and they're like, man, like he had a great game, and then if you watch the game, it doesn't reflect to what the box score is. And to your point, he hit 50% of his shots, but I didn't feel RJ tonight. I felt the same guy that I've seen with the Knicks, just tunnel vision. He just throws some shit and he wants a foul, and the rest
got backdoored by Malik Monk, which was very, impactful. He's a work in progress. I remain hopeful that he wants to be better. He's 23 years old and he wants to be better. And if you're telling me right now, Kuminga, to me, it's tomato. They're both theoretical potential. The one thing I'll say, the upside for Kuminga is probably a little bit higher, and his athletic potential and rim finishing are what make me excited. With RJ, it'll be just honing in some of the skills that make him good and cutting out some of the habits that make him bad. Anyways, Recruiter Dude, thanks a lot for coming on, man. Always appreciate you coming.
Good to see both you guys. Cheers. Have a good night.
Bye. Okay. We got we'll bring on Vince for the trade talk. We got Mario Vallis and Misho Kniey. I don't recognize any of these names. I don't know if you recognize these names. They could be Kings fans. I don't want to, throw anyone out, but we've been having a lot of trolls.
Put a timer like 2 minutes, and then just have someone like voice their opinions for 2 minutes.
Yes, that's a good idea. Mario and Maysoho, if you can just flash your camera on before I let you on. I just need to make sure you're not trolls. So, just write in the chat. Oh, okay. So, hey, what's going on? Maysoho, Nay?
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Thanks for having me on. My pleasure.
Yeah, I think an interesting topic to bring up is actually Sacramento's team payroll. You were mentioning how you would want to take on expirings if you're going to do any sort of Pascal Siakam trade, but their team payroll is only at about $135 million right now, which means that they can actually absorb about $30 million before they make it to the luxury cap line there. Sorry, the luxury tax, I mean. So if we were to do some sort of trade
what are you looking at for their team payroll? Because I'm looking at their team payroll and it's $152 million.
Yeah, that sounds more about right.
Oh, shoot. I'm not looking at anything right now. I was just sort of doing it from memory, so maybe I'm messing things up.
You remembered 132 million. I mean, that's pretty impressive. If you can remember, if you're even that's pretty impressive.
But anyways, I think even with that, I was doing trade machine stuff, and they can still absorb about $14-15 million in contracts. So if you were to do just a swap of Siakam straight up for like Murray, Herder, and a couple second rounders.
They're not giving you Murray, so we can.
Yeah, you were mentioning that earlier, and they're trying to play like hardball in the news right now, and the media stating that they're not going to be selling him. But when it comes down to it,
I can assure you, I'm not a
really
Kings I'm not a Kings insider, but I can guarantee you. I'll tell you right now, if the Sacramento Kings trade Keegan Murray for Pascal Siakam, without the Raptors, throwing in picks or some crazy, youth prospect or something to even it out, I will rename my channel Masai is the greatest of all time for a year.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. The trade might not happen, probably won't happen like you're saying, but I still just find it interesting that they can absorb a lot of contracts. So if we want to shed some salary when we get rid of Siakam, it doesn't necessarily have to be expirings. It can be just straight up them absorbing like 15 mil. And then we can maybe even get rid of Gary Trent for like a first or maybe a couple second rounders and see where it goes from there.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cheers.
Next guy. Just let get him out the way.
Mario Vallis. I'm sorry, you're giving me all sorts of troll vibes, but I don't see a Mario Vallis. I'm calling from my old iPhone, no working webcam. I suspect. I'm sorry, I can't let you on without us verifying your face. Sorry, man. I apologize. If you're a real person, we've had a lot of people come on and say some crazy stuff in that 1 second before I kick them out. So sorry, man. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. Is there anything more to talk about this game, or we just talk about trades?
Let me think about tonight. Like then I didn't love RJ. I was impressed by Scottie. Well, let's talk about Siakam because before the game. By the way, if you guys haven't watched it, there's like 45 seconds straight of him dribbling the basketball like a soccer ball. That shit was impressive. I have to tell you, bro. Like I was highly impressed by that. I mean, I know he played soccer sometime in his youth, but to still do that shit at 6'8", 6'9", like you have to have some like coordination, coordination stuff, man. So
he is extremely coordinated. And to any parents who happen to be watching this, if your kids play basketball, make them play soccer.
Yes,
it will
100%.
make you so much better. I wish I had played soccer in my youth. I decided to play tennis instead. I think soccer is just such a great sport, and that's why I'm so high on Christian Coloco's potential, because he also played soccer, and it shows.
So I was watching him, and I thought it was a random person with like those sticks that like the mascots jump on. Like I've never seen somebody so tall and lanky, and I was like, wait, I'm like, is that?
And you covered JaVale McGee.
Is that? I know, but it's different because like this kid was in all black, and he's just so it's crazy.
He's slender, man, bro.
It's slender, and I was like, wait. Is that a dude like on some sticks? I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh shit, that's Christian. I said, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna be something. Any observations from the game that you think maybe fans at home wouldn't have seen? Body language, communication, huddle stuff, anything of that sort.
I thought the Pacers, the Raptors were disappointed, obviously, when they were down. The body language wasn't great, but I don't know who the quote unquote raw leader is on the Raptors. I don't know what
needs to be Scottie. He
probably, but I don't know who it was. But they really just clamped down and they made things really difficult on the Kings, which is why they made that run.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it too, like the Kings just got fucking stupid. But it's I mean, you at the end of the day, you still have to execute these things, right? And I feel like the Raptors did a good job towards the end of the game. It got close. Scottie and them boys made some plays, but in terms of Siakam, like it kind of justifies what I've said all year about him. Like I just feel like he's on the downhill down, like his trajectory is down as opposed to him being checked out. Like that might be part of it too, but
right.
I just feel like he's on his way down. So if you make a move for him, then it can't be guys like Keegan Murray. Like it has to be, like your jump shooting fillers, and some draft picks, which again aren't worth much because the Kings are good now. But again, the Raptors have a deal here, but it's like their last, like, let's just move on from him type of deal. But it's not like their best deal for sure. And I'll be the first to acknowledge that because the Warriors have a better deal. I think the Pacers have a better deal.
Okay. So, I mean, let's fire up the trade machine and let's talk about it. So, basically, I want to talk quickly about Jonathan Kuminga and this news that came out today about him. Allegedly, he goes to Shams after he basically sits 18 minutes of game time in the Warriors lost last night to the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic. The Warriors were up huge. Nikola Jokic spurs a comeback, hits that running three. I think going into last night, or was it the night before, Jokic had missed 5 shots in 4 games. That's crazy. The efficiency on this dude is crazy. He can do whatever the hell he wants on the basketball court right now. So Kuminga goes to Shams and basically, it's not quite I want to trade, but it's pretty much get me the hell out of here. Doesn't have faith in his championship head coach, who has won 4 championships, by the way. Not satisfied with his role. feels, that his development is being stunted. Reports also surfaced that Moses Moody is in a similar boat. People around him are saying that he is not very satisfied. I think Moses Moody has a point. I'm not really sure Jonathan Kuminga has a foot to stand on, but I'm curious what you think about that, and what kind of assets do you believe those two players are? I watched Jonathan in the G League a lot. I watched Moses at Montverde a lot. Not as much in high school, granted. Not as much in college.
Arkansas.
At Arkansas. I think they're both decent prospects. I'm not ready to commit that either of them is going to be like a full-time starter on a good team yet.
I think for sure, if Moses Moody was on this team on the Kings, he'd start. So, and there are a few teams he would start on. I just don't understand why.
Over Chris Duarte?
For sure, 100%.
Okay.
I think Moses is a player, bro. I'm a big fan of Moses Moody. He's a guy that's a lot like Keegan in the sense that he doesn't make mistakes. He's going to play within himself. He's a system player. He's everything you want in like a prototypical 3-and-D type of guy. And I think there's a lot of value to that. So I love him. If the Kings made one move and they said, let's just trade for Moses, I'd be extremely satisfied. In terms of Kuminga, like you said, bro, it's really all upside. He's, not the most intelligent player on the court, very low IQ, but he's just a freak. He's a freak of nature, and you just get excited about those types of guys because there aren't many of those types of guys. Like this guy is truly a special, unique, physical creature type of guy. So you make that move. Like, to me, you make that move now. I don't know if they play the Warriors. Do they play the Warriors soon?
I'm not sure. Do they play them on this road trip? I think they might.
I think they might.
I think like this Mike. I mean, you've been going off for like pretty much 30 minutes straight about how bad a coach Darko is, and he's gonna get fired and all this stuff. I promise you, if he gets fired this year, you can have him on a channel. He's not gonna get fired. Don't waste your breath. Don't keep, regurgitating your stupid takes. You're not like quite there at this point where you can probably. I don't even know you. I don't know you for shit. I don't know if you're a Kings fan or a Raptors fan or whatever, but you don't understand the game well enough to intelligently tell me what he's doing right and wrong. I'll almost guarantee it. So, like he's not developing or winning. Where does this come from? Like, let me borrow a Darkoism. Who, what, when, where? Like what? Like what the fuck do you want him to do? His dudes are not boxing out. Like, he didn't tell Jakob Poeltl to allow Domantas Sabonis to bully him out of the way. That's roster construction. I think this guy's doing a pretty good job with what he's had. He has 2 new players that he's implemented into a starting lineup, and he won 2 straight games. I think that's something. He's getting guys who are typically very ball dominant to happily buy into moving off the ball quickly, and they're making better decisions. I mean, go listen to Taylor Jenkins talk about what Darko is doing for this offense, but you don't get it because that's the problem. See, like, you don't understand, right? Like Dennis, he played Dennis more than Scottie and Pascal. First of all, that's not even true. Pascal and Scottie had more minutes. So it's not that you don't understand basketball. You don't even understand basic math. Anyways, man, I'm gonna stop responding to you unless you start super chatting or something, because I'm bothered by the lack of intelligence of some of these comments. Anyways,
that's part of it. That's part of it. But yeah,
that is part of it. You get 540 people in here. You're gonna have someone who's,
So how do you feel about that Pacers potential deal as opposed to what the Warriors can offer? Because they can even offer Wiggins in that deal, which I think is still better than what the Kings can offer in terms of Harrison, Kevin, and Davion.
I don't want Davion. I want picks. I want loads of picks.
Yeah, you get a ton of picks, and we'll probably give you Sasha, who can shoot the lights out. So,
okay, let's weigh it up. So on the one hand, you got, like, I think Harrison Barnes is a positive player overall. He's the Moses Moody of veterans. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He spaces the floor correctly. Teams aren't going to sag off of him completely, but they're also not going to be like jumping him at the line either. I think he's a very good veteran. He's a really good stabilizing force for your culture, a culture that sometimes is a little bit, maybe I think he just balances out the locker room. Kevin Huerter, and it's funny because former top 10 pick, goes to Atlanta. I think he played relatively well there. Gets traded to the Kings. I think he was a huge part of your turnaround last year.
Facts.
Now he's
He was
getting
great.
14 minutes coming off the bench against. What has he not done to fall this far in the rotation?
He's just not shooting well. He's going through a huge slump, which the law of averages say that he's about to break that slump. He was in a slump early in the year. Then he started shooting lights out again. Now he's back in a slump. But the problem with Kevin is, and as most like shooters, is if they're not good defensively, you're just a full-on negative, especially if you're not making shots, right? But I still feel like, as you said, he still commands gravity. Like, you still have to guard him no matter what. And that creates spacing for you. And on the Raptors, not to sell you or anything like that, but it would make sense why they would make a move like that, because even Harrison Barnes.
He plays really well. I think he would play really well off Scottie. And
Yeah.
basically every single player that Scottie has played well with has things in common with Kevin Huerter. So he plays well with Immanuel Quickley. Two-man action between Scottie and Quickley is great.
And the Raptors don't have that. I mean, they drafted that, right? And then Grady, like, they want him to be Kevin Huerter, but he's not there yet. So if you want a guy that's there at 25 years old on a relatively good contract, who's going to want to get paid around the same, but for a longer period of time, then you make that move, right? And then you talked about HB and what he can bring as a leader. I think he needs a change of scenery from the Kings, and the Kings need a change of scenery from him.
The Raptors originally wanted him, in the draft. They wanted him so badly, and then he fell one pick below. He goes to the Warriors, and c'est la vie. We get coin toss Ross, and that was what she wrote. And I was a very, very big fan of his in North Carolina. I liked him a lot. So
great guy. Great.
I've always remained a fan of his, even when he was getting trolled, with the Warriors, and I think he's just a guy that.
So that would be the package, right? HB, Kevin, and Sasha, and 2 first-round picks, 3. I don't know. But I think the Kuminga, Moody, and Wiggins or Chris Paul still is a better upside deal than what the Kings can offer. So that's where you get that tweet, right? From Shams. Like, both the Kings and Raptors are playing this little chess match, and they're earlier, like, there's a tweet that I reposted that I want to show you.
You can share your screen if you want.
Let me see. Give me a sec. Where is it? Profile. Am I sharing that yet or no? Or do I have to click it?
You have to click it to share it.
Present.
Yep.
Share screen. Share screen. Yeah.
Vince, hang tight. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you on in about 2 minutes. We're gonna start talking trades, and we're gonna fire up the trade machine and see what happens. In any trade scenario, what we can do is I can be one GM, you can be the other GM, and then I guess Vince can be a third GM if that's required.
Can you see my tweets?
Yes.
Okay. So it was the retweet from Nathaniel Miller, who's a journalist at UC Davis, works for ABC 10. He said, if a story changes that much in 2 hours, it hints that the original story was based on a single source without response from the other parties. Typically, outside of sports, you take that info to the other side and solicit comment before hitting publish. But sports is a soap opera. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I'm literally sitting there, right? Like, watching Bobby talk to what's his name, our assistant coach, Jody Fernandez, who coached Canada. Jordy. And right next to him, maybe like 5 steps to his left, you got Messiah and you got Alvin Gentry. And Siakam is shooting shots right in front of them. And, y'all can watch the video. I can show you guys. Here it is, right here. Look at Bobby, Jordy. They're laughing. They're talking about Siakam, literally. And then that tweet breaks out, and it's just like you got Alvin here. Like, what do you think they're talking about? How their life is? You know what I mean? Like,
I think they're talking about plans for RJ Barrett this summer.
right? They're talking about Team Canada. So I just thought that was weird, bro. And to Nathaniel's point, that's a spot on tweet.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of smoke going on, and that's all that was. It's not truly over. What that can also mean too is just they're asking for Keegan, and the Kings are like, well, I'm not gonna give you Keegan. I'm gonna leak this shit out, and vice versa. They're both gonna leak out and use the media and use Shams and Woj to like try and leverage the whole situation. That's typically how it goes. As the deadline gets closer, you start leaking stuff out. And you know, like that's just the way it is. Agents get involved. It's truly like a chess match, and whichever team, you know, budgets.
Well, you're
first.
actually a perfect person to have on because you know Buddy Hield pretty well. And Buddy Hield is probably one of those guys that's going to be, you know, part of this package. So you probably, and you also know the Kings side very well. And I think you're very informed on, generally speaking, the NBA, but also I just think the specific teams that are involved in the Siakam stuff, I think you're really informed on those guys. So let's bring Vince on as well to get our third general manager in the door. Vince, we recently discovered that Vince was actually a Sacramento Kings fan who lives in Toronto. He's not a Raptor fan. He's a Kings fan.
I love it.
Come on.
I love it.
Okay, hold on. Let me repeat what my man here said. The guy who I thought was my friend, my brother. He said to me, Rob, I watched all the Kings games last year. I stopped watching Raptor games a while ago, but I watched all the Kings games. They're great to watch. They're great to watch.
You should.
God damn it. Oh, you know what's funny? I actually didn't know. Okay, so I didn't know this. I'm going to share this for the first time. We have 553 people on here, and I think I can share this now. So you remember Larry Kane, the Olympian who comes on?
Yeah.
Give me
that guy's awesome.
He's awesome. Have I told you something really amazing about him that he shared with me 7 months ago? Give me a W for the chat if you guys remember Larry Kane. I think most of the community does. He's called in plenty of times. Maybe he's even watching right now. So shout out to Larry if you are. Do you know that he named his dogs after us? Me and you. He named his dogs Robbie and Leo.
What?
Yeah.
That's an honor, bro.
It is an honor. And Robbie just passed away. So, my condolences, of course, to Larry.
What type of dogs?
I can't remember. I think they were yellow labs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, tell him to send me a picture, man. I'm super excited now.
Yeah. So he told me this at Penn Dance when we were. So to those of you who don't know, I run a film festival. Nice little plug for Penn Dance, which is coming up February 22nd to 25th. So he was there, and he was just like, yeah, Robbie and Leo. These are my dogs. I watch every Raptors game with these two dogs, and
that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, on to the trades we go. Okay.
Can I first defend myself?
First of all, first thing you need to do is unplug these AirPods, and so you don't sound like Darth Vader on our show.
Yeah.
Every time. They suck every time. Why do they suck every time? We got to go back to 2006 technology, bro. 2020 technology ain't working.
That's crazy. Shout out to the AirPods, though. Shit, 06 technology is not working either, I guess.
Oh, no.
So, do you agree, though, Rob, that you would go with the upside package with the Warriors as opposed to like the now, I guess, like the now package from the Kings?
I think the issue for me is how much do you believe that you can turn around Kuminga, right? I was actually on the record a couple of days ago saying I would entertain a package for Draymond Green. for
that.
expirings, and maybe take your win now move there, and then get your picks and young players who don't help you win somewhere else, because Draymond brings an abundance of winning.
I mean, that's what you do though. So you get Draymond, Kuminga, and Moody, and
exactly. Pick. So I think therein lies the haul, right? If you think about it, because if Draymond works out for you, whoa, this deal looks great for you and great for them, because he's not working out there. And you basically, if you're the Warriors, you've got a good thing going right now, right? You've got a good thing going with Trace Jackson and Pajimski. And I think like the question really right now from the Siakam side of it is, number one, if he had agreed, 3 months ago, and this is for all the Siakam super fans out there who just defend him forever, and he has every right to do this. But if he doesn't come out and put out these reports that he will not sign an extension, his trade value is higher. It's way higher, right? So that's my issue with this, is you have this guy who is basically, daring teams to trade for him, basically saying, you're still going to have to woo me. I'm not signing. And so it just pushes this deal. And now you've passed the deadline where you could have extended him for 4 years. So if you're a team that's bringing him in, you're going to have to go through unrestricted free agency with him, which means the only advantage to bringing him in right now, in terms of like giving up a sizable, package for him, which includes, 2-3 first round picks or whatever, is you got to trust that you can keep him. And you're going to have him in your system for about 48 games, in which you're going to be able to see who he is, sell him on it, and then you're going to have his bird rights.
So he's a free agent?
He is a free agent.
Kuminga?
No, Siakam.
Oh, yeah. I'm tripping.
No, I'm not talking about Kuminga.
Oh, yeah.
So with that in mind, I think the first question is, which of these 4 teams, Sacramento, Golden State, Atlanta, and Indiana, have the best chance to actually convince him to stay?
Well, we know that he wants to be in California.
I've heard
that's been known for a long time. So
I think he would stay in Golden State for sure.
Yeah,
you'd be crazy not to.
Both. I mean, both the Kings. Like, if the Kings are going to trade for him, there's like a wink, like, I'm going to sign. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I muted you because there was a something going on with your sounds. You're not muted anymore, but yeah.
Okay, is there still that weird sound?
No.
Okay,
I think
cool.
were you squeezing a stress ball?
I might have been. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Was it actually a stress ball?
No. It's a lacrosse ball.
Ah.
Yeah.
But damn, the acoustic knowledge of Rob to be able to see that, to be able to hear that you were squeezing a ball off screen. By the way, I didn't see it.
That's clutch.
Damn.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, Robbie.
That is why I get paid the big bucks. You are correct. Okay. We also got Coach Mo on here. We could run a four-way trade. Okay, let's bring Mo on here, man. Mo, what up?
I'm just gonna give a 2 cents. I don't. By the way, can I just say to everybody, since the trade, I think most Raptor fans are invested. I miss not caring about wins or losses. This one hurt.
Same.
This one hurt.
Oh, really?
This one hurt. No, this one hurt. I cared again.
I didn't care at all that they lost. I thought it was fantastic that we had a fun game. We have a fun team to root for now.
Yeah, but when you root for a team,
Vince is basically Darko's assistant coach right now, okay? Darko's like, guys, we need to have fun out there. And then Vince is like, have some fun, man.
The wins and losses for our team doesn't matter this year. It matters big time for Sacramento. I was actually happy to kind of see Sacramento win because they need it more than we do right now. We're working through our shit.
Yo, Coach Mo, if you start your own YouTube channel, Keon Leahy right here is your first subscriber. I guarantee it. There have been like 2 people who've been like the whole time. It's like, get these 2 bums off my screen. I just want to hear Coach Mo scream at Dennis Schroeder. I hope you don't scream at Dennis Schroeder. You're getting blocked if you do today. He played great.
I don't need to be a psychic. I don't need to be a psychic to know he was closing the game.
That's
you can call me an oracle. You can call me an oracle. Though.
Oh, he was good though. Let's be honest.
He was good.
No, he was. He was.
I was relieved to see him come in the game. This is the first time I think in the year he got off to the Raptors came out with that hapless, defense. And look, man, like you just got to look at it from this perspective. He's a better player right now than RJ Barrett. Is RJ Barrett more talented? Sure. Is he bigger? Yes. Is he a bigger part of your future? Does he get paid a lot more money? Fine.
What about the play where, since we have two small guards, when Murray cut to the basket and you just throw it over, there's two short guys.
Yeah.
There's two short guys. So
That's
there's going to be an
fair,
issue.
But
there's going to be an issue.
In fairness, if you put Jalen McDaniels or RJ Barrett in their place, I guarantee you, not only are you throwing it over them, those guys aren't even in the play because they got lost somewhere like 18 seconds ago.
That's true too.
Okay.
No,
like I mean, what would you rather have? Him going over?
I have no beef with Dennis. My picture aside. Can Darko stop this? Scotty's at the waiting to get subbed in under 5 minutes. Can we stop that?
Yeah. I think some people are going to definitely bring that up, that he came in a little bit too late, and I agree with you. But guess what? He came in and he didn't attempt a single shot for the next 5 minutes. Okay, so that's also worth noting. But he was incredible. Like I think lost in this game was Scottie revving it up late again and just having this extra gear. And people always say Scottie plays with a super high motor, and I agree that overall he plays with a pretty high motor relative to most athletes. But he has another gear that he can go to, where he can get his go gadget arms, and he can just man up defensively, and he can get into the paint. Like he hit a really tough shot over Keegan Murray in the first half when things were like really looking bad for the Raptors. And I think honestly, the whistle was a little bit weird tonight.
Well, if I'm being completely over those last 5 minutes, the refs were trying to make the All-Star team. Bro. The
Raptors shot 12. The Raptors shot 12 more free throws tonight. What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying there was a lot of refereeing that. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of parade to the free throw line, even if it's for my team.
Like De'Aaron Fox was getting like molested out there, and he got no calls.
Your boy
get molested? We didn't defend
everyone
him.
in the back. Your boy Sabonis shoves everyone in the back for rebounds.
He
gets away with them.
Well, he's an all-star. That's how you get away with it. They're not going to foul him out of the game in the first game. Like here's the thing, man. Like every game, you establish the physicality early, and then you normalize it. So if you start doing that early, you start going to the line early and being really physical.
But that's why Fox got a technical foul, because they caught him on the second attempt, because first he was getting pushed from the back by Quickley, and then when he hooked Quickley, it was like, bro, like I'm getting pushed, and then then he gets a technical foul because he's super upset about it. Which when he's upset, he's super upset, because he don't get upset like that. Like, he don't talk much, as you guys saw Fox. So he was pretty upset.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, let's get on with these trades. Look, but honestly, my question is really, I mean, we kind of died on the screen there. I mean, just with Jalen McDaniels there. I laid up the question, and then we just got lost somewhere in this transition to where would he be able to stay? So, do you think if you're Indiana and you're giving up, a boatload of assets, which includes picks, including your number 8 pick last year, this past year, Jarris Walker, if you're giving up all of that and you lose Siakam, that's something out the door, because Indiana's not contender right now. They're not trading for him the way the Raptors traded for Kawhi, where it's like, this is the final piece to our puzzle and it's going to be a championship. No, they're trading for him on the basis of, hey, Tyrese is ready. Siakam fits really super well with what we want to do, and for the next 2-3 years, this could be our core. And I agree with that. And if Atlanta does it, it's the same thought. With he shores up some stuff for us. I just don't think, as much as Atlanta makes sense, I just feel the emergence of Jalen Johnson this year, it makes it like we're making a trade to make a trade. I don't see how he makes them so much better. Trey has the ball so much. What does Siakam do for them?
Yeah.
Like, I feel he does so much more for Indiana, Golden State, and Sacramento than he does for Atlanta right now. That's my read on it.
I agree with that too. But I think that he's more likely to re-sign in Atlanta than he is in Indiana.
Yeah, Vince, I keep muting you because you're very loud.
Oh shit! Sorry, I
No, you like every motion, like every crumple, everything is just very loud. I wonder if I can just adjust your mic settings to make you a little less loud, and that might actually help. Hang on one sec.
my bad. I'm just doing regular movements.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna adjust your. I think your mic volume just was really high, so just adjusting it down.
Vince, don't breathe. Don't breathe, Vince.
No, you can
I
you can definitely breathe. Just don't crumple things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get among these trades. I mean, among these teams, who do you think can keep him? Can Indiana convince him to stay? Can Atlanta convince him to stay? Can Sacramento? You think Sacramento and Golden State have a better chance because they're California teams?
As soon as they move Porzingis.
I think the California teams have a better, definitely have a better shot. But I think Golden State's going to be the one that's like the no-brainer for him. Personally, that's just my take on it. Right, and I think it's the most.
Steph is old.
Yeah, but you're still aging out with Steph.
Yeah.
You know, that's a hell of a complimentary player to age out with.
Wouldn't it be better to age up with Tyrese?
Halliburton? Yeah, I mean, that's also I think it's a good option for him. I think those are the only two. I think Golden State and Indiana are the two that make the most sense. But I think if I'm Pascal,
bro, read this comment.
I like Hoodie Mello.
Oh God,
my
boy. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's hilarious. Okay. Okay. I think Indiana would have a long shot. It's not a huge market.
Really? Where's his numbers going to look the best?
His numbers will look the best in Indiana, bro.
Who's going to offer him the most? Who's the most desperate? Who's the most desperate? Who's the smallest market?
We'll bring up Indiana.
If we all believe Siakam's about the bag, it's Indiana.
Yeah, but
they'll all offer him a max. No one is trading for him expecting him to sign him for less than a max. If you're trading him for signing him less than a max, you should be fired. He wants the max.
I think your dollar goes further in Indiana. I'm just saying.
Who's giving the better assets in return? That's what matters the most.
But here's the problem. I think when you go to the table for negotiation, it should be stated what the other side is thinking as well.
What's up, Exo?
So I'm trying to understand it from both sides of the table, right? Like to try to understand a trade only from your perspective, right? To be like, okay, well, the Raptors want Jarris Walker, or the Raptors want, Zion Williamson, or whatever. It's like, that's great. It's good for you. Now, welcome to NBA Twitter. You're every other idiot fan in the world.
Yeah.
Try to frame it back to what the other team wants, right? And that's where you can hopefully come up with something a little bit more balanced and realistic.
So bring up the Pacers. So add the team already.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
I also don't believe all of them would offer him the max right away.
So, I mean, first of all, from the desperation argument, I think that there's different desperations for all teams. So for the Kings and the Pacers, the desperation is we've already gotten, something that we think is going to make the playoffs without this guy. Getting him in might propel us one round up.
Yeah.
It might give us something we don't have. Maybe our picks aren't going to be very good for the next few years. We already have a young core that we're building around. In the case of the Pacers, they have Benedict Mathurin. They have, Tyrese Halliburton. They're not giving up Halliburton in this trade at all. They're getting a guy who's relatively in his prime right now to pair with him. For the Kings, they're not giving up Keegan Murray, De'Aaron Fox, or Domantas Sabonis. So they get something that is very, very unique. Actually, 4 players that good together, that might be the most balanced foursome in the league.
And Monk,
that's 5. I mean, geez, so even if you drop Monk and Keegan a notch below, because as excited as I am about Keegan's ascension at this point, he's not a better player than Siakam.
Yeah,
but like Fox, Sabonis, and Siakam is a formidable, 3 guys who could realistically make an all-NBA team, that's tough. Like, even if yesterday we did a thought exercise where we tried to figure out where Siakam ranks in the NBA in terms of players, we put Fox and Sabonis over him. So he's probably the third, but that doesn't mean that he wouldn't be like the second scoring option. He probably still would be the second scoring option.
1,000%.
And therein lies the greatness of that is if you can understand this from the Indiana and Kings side, they can put him in his ideal spot, which is less of a creator role, more of a finisher role in transition, movement, back cuts. He could be unlocked in these places. And I think that would be their sales pitch to him. Play with us. Your numbers will be freaking elite. Your job will be easier. You'll play fewer minutes and you'll play fun basketball. And who doesn't want to play fun basketball? From the side of the other two teams, which is Golden State and Atlanta, it's more like save us from the shit that we
which
created
is the
here.
worst thing you can put Siakam in.
No, come on. He'd be great in Golden State. My God, they would play amazing together. I think he's the perfect complement to that
with
team.
who though? I mean, Clay is washed. Draymond is washed.
I don't think Draymond's washed.
No, I don't think either of them are washed. I don't think
you don't think Clay is washed.
You need to watch Clay play basketball, man.
Listen, I've watched. I hate watch the Warriors and I hate watch the Lakers. So I know what Clay is doing right now, but I think they still have at the end of the day they still have two elite shooters, and then you put the creation ability of Pascal in between them. You surround them with two other smart players. I don't know, Otto Porter, and then whoever we don't get in the trade, Pajemski. That team can be fun as hell and elite offensively. Are they going to stop tons of play? Are they going to have elite defense?
But they're not better. But they're not better if if you think about Siakam, Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and you think about Siakam, Fox, Sabonis, Keegan, and Malik. It's like,
oh no, I think for sure. But it's
his best thing is to go to Sacramento. But the Raptors want the most out of it, and I don't think the Kings have the best package for him.
No, I'm sorry, but the Kings don't have anything that they need or are looking for.
Okay, cool.
Davion is.
Let's do it this way. Okay, myself and Vince will be one front office. Leo and Mo, you're on the other side. Okay. I wish I could rearrange these pegs so that I can put us in the war room. But, Vince and I, we're going to have to agree on shit. And, okay. So let's get this out. We're trading Pascal Siakam, right? We're the Raptors. You're the Pacers. Cool? Okay.
I'm assistant GM.
You yeah, sure. You guys can be president, GM, you can be whatever. Okay.
Can you do the Masai voice?
Can I do the Masai voice?
Yeah. Just to make it a little bit more realistic.
Okay. I apologize if this is racially insensitive or culturally insensitive to anybody.
How is that culturally insensitive? He's got a great voice. He has a very unique voice.
No, because Rob's white.
Yeah.
This is true. Impersonating a Nigerian will not go very far for me. So maybe I should just stick to I'll just stick to my voice.
Yeah.
But if it comes out spontaneously at some point when I go on an 18-minute rant about winning and guys, we need to win. We need to win here. We're gonna win here. We're gonna I can't do it. I don't know. I didn't grow up around Nigerian people. I grew up around Jamaican people. So if Masai Ujiri is from Jamaica, I could probably do a decent one on that. But impersonate Precious after Masai. Okay. Hey man, you're asking a lot from Rob Jung-un, okay? Hoodie Mellow. All right.
I see.
Okay. We got Siakam in the deal. Are we throwing anything else in here? I mean, first of all, we need to know what are we putting out? Because it could be Siakam alone, or it could be Siakam plus stuff.
We'll go on the Pacers side first, though. That way we kind of match what his numbers are, which is what's he making?
Well, he's making 37 million, 37.8. So very likely you're also going to. I mean, they're not okay. Let's just take some guys off the table.
So Buddy, you have to add Buddy to that.
Yay! No defense ever. Okay.
I just texted him, by the way. He's doing well.
That's good.
Yeah.
Tell him.
I don't. He's going from one cold place to another, but Toronto's better than Indiana, so
way better.
Yeah.
Okay. No shade to anyone from Indiana. Think the city's awesome, but come on now.
No, you don't.
Let's get
I wouldn't mind living there if I was 85 years old.
Right.
I think it's awesome. Yo, I'm about to like. I think no, I'm not. I'm actually kidding. I actually do like Indiana. I like a lot of places in the United States that maybe a lot of people don't like. I like Baltimore. Just I like a lot of places that are very
Barris
Maryland.
Walker. So that's already 2024, 2023.
Yes, that is 25.
Oh
20,
shit.
sorry, are we putting in Jarris? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 25. I'm bad at math. You're gonna add Jalen Smith or Obi because he's expiring.
Can we take Jalen Smith, please?
I mean,
Wouldn't they want to keep Obi over Jalen?
Okay,
Smith?
first of all,
who do they prioritize on that team?
I don't give a fuck who they prioritize. I prioritize Jalen Smith. He's younger and he's better.
Totally.
And he's a defender. He can actually protect the paint, and he's actually been analytically solid this year. Yeah, well,
they both suck.
I mean, Scottie knows Obi. That's the only upside. I just can't stand like the defense on this team. And you're giving me Buddy Hield and Obi Toppin. I will quit. I will quit YouTube completely and just I'll stop watching basketball, bro. I'll stop watching basketball. If I have to cover a team with Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, Buddy Hield, Malachi Flynn's gone. Thank God. I mean, we got 2 out and we got 2 in. Come on, man. No.
I think the hope is that long-term Jarris Walker is a solid defender, which it looks like he could be.
Bro, he's Jarris Walker. He's not God. He can't cover for Buddy Hield and Obi Toppin.
No, but if he's on the court with Scottie and Quickley and capable guys, then he'll be fine. You know?
So you're at 30 million, right? He's at 37. Would that if you press?
It would work. It would work roughly.
It would work. Okay.
I think more needs to be added here because basically I've taken on a role player, a young prospect, and an expiring.
Yeah, so we're looking at players. So
can we get Ben Shepherd in this deal? Is that possible?
See, now you're running into problems because you have one open roster spot.
Yep.
Right. And you did create
give up a player in this.
Okay, so give them Jalen McDaniels and Otto Porter or Thaddeus Young.
Oy, those are not equivalent. And also, Jalen McDaniels makes $4.5 million. So they're adding that.
$8 million, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so
you probably have to actually add someone like Garrett Temple, unfortunately. And I don't want to add a Garrett Temple because I like Garrett Temple a lot. So I'm going to try to add Jalen McDaniels and pray that this works somehow. So this deal, in theory, would work cap-wise. I think we'll
try it, and then just adjust it.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I think there needs to be a little bit more added from the Raptors side.
Yeah.
Let's see how far off we are here. So 3.7 cut 4.1 million from the trade. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's literally Temple.
No, because Temple still puts you over. You need to take this guy off. So
why can't you do 3 for 1?
Huh?
Just do a 3 for 1.
Because you'd have to waive somebody. We don't have a lot of waivable contracts. You can't carry 16 players.
We'll just waive Garrett Temple at that point.
But I don't want to waive Garrett Temple.
You have to. So just try it.
But I don't want to.
I think
I don't want to waive
him.
him.
It's fine.
Huh?
We'll just try it this way.
It's fine. Yeah.
Waive Gary.
Nice one saying, Masai Rob, he's going to go after Mathurin. Yeah, I think, okay, so if I understand Masai as well as I think I do, I think he would prefer Jarris Walker. There's a lot of upside here to prioritize. However,
instead of Jalen Smith, can we get the Canadian kid? Not Mathurin, the other one?
Nembhard? No.
Nembhard, yeah.
No.
I think that actually might make this a lot more fair. And that might drastically drop down the pick equity.
No, there would be no pick equity. There would be no pick equity. If you're getting Jarris Walker and Andrew Nembhard, you're getting no pick.
Hold on. What is the value right now of a sec? I think you guys are drastically underselling like what Pascal Siakam is worth.
He could be worth
he's
nothing.
He's a better player than OG Anunoby.
Yes, this is a perfectly reasonable trade. Buddy Hield, no picks involved, but Buddy, Jarris Walker, and Nembhard for Pascal is a perfect.
I wouldn't say he's better than OG. That's crazy.
It's not crazy. He is a better player. Pascal Siakam's a better player than
as
OG
an individual. Yes.
Yes, I'm not talking when slotted next to, and within the context of an incredible defense.
Does he impact?
It depends on the team. It depends completely
Bro,
on the team.
if you see him in Indiana, he's going to average like 28, 8, and 9, and people are going to be talking about him as all NBA again. And then you're going to be like,
he might only do it for 2 months.
Yeah, I'm not.
I like OG more, but that doesn't change the fact that Pascal Siakam.
I don't care if he's Michael Jordan. He can only be there for 2 months. He might only be there for 2 months.
So I think this deal would work. Wait, does this work? I think it works. No, it doesn't work because you took money off, and now we're screwed again because, my assistant GM, who's supposed to understand the cap, decided
but your assistant GM is looking out for your team. We want the better players. We want Nembhard. We don't want Jalen Smith. Fuck that guy.
Why fuck that guy? Why is he bad?
I would rather Koloko. I just mean,
you can have two. What?
Nah,
why do we have only one guy who can protect the rim? I'm assuming at some point we're going to move off of Jakob Poeltl. Why not have Koloko and Jalen Smith?
I think Nembhard is the far greater and far more important option to have down the line.
So right? Andrew Nembhard on a team with Immanuel Quickley.
Yeah.
And 100%. Scottie Barnes. Make it make sense.
Those are the 3 guards. Those are your 3 guards into the future. That's a fantastic core. It's a fantastic lineup. It's a fantastic backcourt.
I don't think you're getting them. I don't think you're going to get Andrew, but if you can get Andrew, that'd be great.
So presumably we're trying to drum up a bidding war between them and Golden State, right? So if Golden State is now offering freshly broken hand Chris Paul in a package, and then they throw in 2 of their 4 young guys. Okay,
it's all marketing, bro.
What's that?
It's all marketing that he's a good defensive player. That's what Maroon Prince is saying.
I watched enough of him in college, Maroon Prince. I refuse to buy that take, man. He's a rookie. You have to give rookies time. There are very few rookies in the league that are ever going to come in. But here's Andrew Nembhard's crafted profile, just an FYI. This is who he is, according to the analytics. 54th percentile true shooting, 39th percentile shot quality, 7th percentile free throw rate, 31st percentile three-point attempt rate, 19th percentile offensive rebounder, naturally. What you guys are valuing is the passer rating, the load, the creation. And as a defender, he offers you minimal value, mainly that he gets to the rim. He's pretty bad when he gets there. He does not rebound at all. He is not very good overall as a player right now, okay? And that's just putting it very lightly. And he is 23 years old. I watched the best of him last year. I've watched the worst of him this year. And I tell you, he has taken a step back this year in everything. He was better last year than he is this year. Not exactly something that you look at. In terms of box plus minus, which is a stat we reference a lot on this channel, negative 3.2 last year, negative 3.4 this year. In terms of as a prospect, I understand that he gets a lot of,
my brother, 2 nights in a row.
Oh, man.
He was with me at Jessup last night, too. We had a whole little crew.
I got the trade.
What?
Punch this in your trade machine. It's going to be Bruce Brown, Buddy Hield, Jarris Walker, Andrew Nembhard for Pascal Siakam and Gary Trent Jr.
So here's my question. Why is Nembhard such a hard-on for you guys? Is it because he's Canadian? Because he's a guard? Because you watched him play that huge, game that he had against Golden State? What is it that he's done to this date as not a very young player, by the way? He's 24 years old. He's almost 24. I don't care. Malachi Flynn's gone. Get over the trauma, bro.
No, the trauma's real.
No, I understand the trauma is real, but you need to get over it. So,
I think you just hope for development. That's ultimately what you hope for. I think we've seen flashes of him last year when he was filling in for an injured Halliburton, that he could if you squint hard enough as a rookie, he could run the
Squint
team.
so you can't see anything.
Well, okay. Go
as a
watch
pick
the
and
game
roll
against
ball
Golden
handler
State.
and as an advanced reader guy, he's great. As a creator, he's good. Right now, as a player, he's a worse player than TJ McConnell. That's not even shade on him.
Yeah,
He's a worse
agree.
player than Peyton Pritchard. So how many of these guards do you want to develop? And my point is, I don't want to be small. I don't want to be small.
Sorry,
Is he small though?
No,
He's-
he's
he's-
6'5". He's good.
Okay.
He's good size.
First of all, he's okay. Let me pull up his draft measurements. He's not 6'5". I've seen him in person.
I mean, did you see how we ended the game today?
6'5" is Trent, because I was standing next to Trent. I'm like, he's actually bigger than what I thought he was.
Yes.
Quickly is little. Like Quickly's not that big.
Andrew
He's about,
Nemhard.
he's about 6'2". And let me see. NBA
Quickly's
draft.
got the wingspan. That's the Messiah special. You get the wingspan.
Yeah, I'm watching him.
Okay. Okay, so Andrew Nemhard, 6'4.5" with shoes. Okay, that's 6'3.5" with a 6'5" wingspan. That's an undersized player. If you play him off ball, you get killed if you play him anywhere but the one. So how does he slot in? How does he slot in with an Immanuel Quickley?
No, if he's playing
Dennis does. Dennis can slot in.
So where's Immanuel Quickley? Where's Immanuel Quickley in this hypothetical situation? On the bench? Your centerpiece.
You have 3 guards, so you rotate them. He doesn't always have to be next to Scottie. I think look, they played Schroeder next to Quickley today. It depends on the matchup. I think he's a potential weapon in the future. I think he's shown flashes that he could be a starting level or starting caliber point guard in the league. I don't know this for sure, but if I'm Masai, if I'm Bobby, I'm taking flyers on guys who could develop into that right now. I think we kind of see what Jalen Smith is, right?
Bro, Jalen Smith is the same age, and he's better. And he's not
hasn't
undersized.
he been in the year? It hasn't even been the
Rob, I changed it. I changed the trade. It's now Bruce Brown, Buddy Hield, Jarris Walker, Jalen Smith for Pascal Siakam and Chris Boucher.
I think there will be some pushback on this for sure from someone, but okay. Let's pull up the trade again.
Well, let's just try to make
they need Bruce Brown.
We need Bruce Brown and Buddy Hield just to get the numbers to work. Because everyone else that isn't Miles Turner or
they're not going to give up Bruce Brown though. Realistically,
I mean, he's not in their future. He's basically on a 1-year deal. The second one's a team option, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. Okay.
He's filler.
Okay. I mean, I think we have a theoretical framework in terms of like what could work and what couldn't work. I think we're just having trouble, like on our own side, we're having trouble agreeing to how valuable Andrew Nemhard is on our side. I mean, Vince and I can't seem to agree.
Just add the first guy, the guy from the Suns,
Jalen Smith.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, and just please understand that my take is not that Andrew Nemhard is better than Jalen Smith necessarily, like as an asset. It's just that he fits better with what you need. And when it comes down to these two guys, I'm not really sure if the theoretical upside on Andrew Nemhard as a negative defender, as a on-ball creator necessarily next to Immanuel Quickley is necessarily my idea of a great defensive backcourt going forward. So I want 2 starters back in this that I can build with. Jarris is one of them. Some people think he's not very good. Fine. I like him too. Let's see here. We still have Buddy Hield in the trade. On the other side,
you can't really add nothing because he makes so much money.
And Jarris is from Baltimore. Just look that up. So that's a dog. That's a dog. We need those.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I get that vibe from him too. Like I get toughness from him.
Hey, Coach, you're a Pacers GM, okay? You can't be saying we need those.
Oh, sorry.
What do you mean?
He switched up on you so hard. We should have given you Vince. Yeah. We should have given you Vince. He's already a Sacramento fan. We ship him off to Sacramento with Siakam.
Yo,
I
like watching.
Beautiful
fun
basketball
teams.
sue you.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
beautiful
gonna say?
basketball. I like watching good basketball. It's always it's nice now. Now after the Raptors made the OG trade and they're a more easy watch. It's nice that I can actually enjoy watching my favorite team.
Has anyone just been seeing me scroll up and down this screen? I'm trying to mimic what I think Masai is doing right now, just in real time. Like right now, just on his plane, on to the next stop. Like just what, who, what. I think the slogan for this year for the Raptors should be who, what, where, when. Signed, Darko Rajakovic. Okay.
I think this whole process
has to be Obi Toppin, bro. It has to be Obi. That's the only way.
Yeah.
I don't want Obi Toppin.
I just need to see it say successful. So go Obi Toppin, take Jalen Smith out of this.
It won't make it where you're off by 12 million. The gap is 12 million.
Still?
Yeah.
No, this works. This works right here. It does.
Try it.
I need to add picks before I try it.
Okay.
I need picks for this. So I want. Okay, this is going to be a good team. Do they have anyone else's picks?
This is actually a good framework. This is a decent framework.
2026 first round pick.
They might be too good. I'm going to bank on Siakam potentially leaving in free agency and want their 2025 pick.
It's lottery protected though.
You're not getting 2025.
Then it's going to get extended to 26 anyway. Why is it lottery protected?
Has to be.
Why?
For the exact reason that he could potentially leave.
Can you put
that's the only way that I want that pick. I want that pick with top 5 protection.
Can we put in a clause where if he stays, there's no protection? If he leaves, there's hard protection?
I'll give you top 10. I'll give you top 8 protected.
We do top 10. We do top 10.
But it's fine. They're not going to be top 10 anyway. It's fine.
No, because I don't want any chance that this pick conveys later because I need to convince Scottie Barnes to stick around, and I need this pick to convey.
Sure.
So giving you top 10 protection, it may not convey. I need top 8. I mean, we're haggling over 2 spots, bro. 2 spots. What's 2 spots? You're giving up role players and hypotheticals. Sure. I'm not asking you for shit, bro. Like I want a second round pick.
Though.
I want a second round pick. What are you giving up here? You're giving up a guy that's a bum, another guy who plays no defense. We're gonna have to ship him up. We're basically trading you Pascal Siakam for Jarris Walker and a pick. That's not fair. Be real here.
That's what you're probably gonna get.
Well, that's not fair, is what I'm saying. We're getting role players and Jarris Walker hasn't done shit in the NBA. Maroon Prince is right as well. Like I'm right too. I think in my mind that he has the potential to be like a stopper and a stretch big or whatever. We have to develop all
right. I'll give you 2 second round picks.
Cool.
Yeah, they got
add 2025 and add 2027 since you can't do back to back.
You can add back to back second round picks. There's no no Stepien rule in second round picks. How about okay? How about this Utah one? 2027. Utah's going to be good in 2027, so that's going to be a late pick. Shit. Can we take 2028 Dallas?
That's fine.
Instead? Okay,
that's
cool.
Fine.
Leo's like, fuck you, man. I don't care about your second round picks.
Go.
Okay.
Try it.
Successful.
There Got it is. Buddy Hield, Jarris Walker, Jalen Smith. 2 seconds in the first for Pascal.
Okay, and the only way, and then the only complication for the Raptors here is they have to find a roster spot or they have to trade somebody to create a roster spot.
Right.
That's
okay. So leave that up there. Open up a new tab and open up a new Fans Pro. So the second deal.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You're smart. Like that you would do it like that because I would have totally scrubbed this trade and then been like, what was that?
Yeah.
Or what I could do actually. Unless you plan on adjusting this, is this going to get adjusted? What I could do is just screenshot it so that we can cycle through them later.
The tab is better, just in case we have to edit this. True. So just open up a new tab, and then let's go Sacramento. Let's go Sacramento.
God, we're gonna take everything you guys own.
That's my guy. That's my assistant.
No, I'm saying I'm a Raptor right now.
Oh, what?
Yes.
No, you're not.
If we're not getting Keegan Murray, we're taking everything else.
It's 3 against 1, and that's fine.
Okay, this is not right. I feel like I need to trade Coach Mo for Vince. We're just gonna. I think Vince will be much more of a team player for you. I think Coach Mo is he's basically Judas at this point, right?
Hey, listen, there's no way. I don't even want to entertain.
Vince is a Kings fan anyway. Vince is a Kings fan anyway.
Hey,
This is true.
I'm being misrepresented. I don't want a Sacramento trade as a Raptor fan at all. There's nobody on their team that appeals to me who's going to be offered in a trade. I don't want Herter.
Kevin Herter is a great piece for you guys.
No, I don't want Herter. I don't want Barnes. I don't want.
Okay, can we be real for a second here? There's not one person on this screen who likes Kevin Herter other than me. Literally nobody. Not one of you motherfuckers like this guy for shit. And
Kevin
I am going to be celebrating.
I'm
going to be celebrating so hard when he wins league MVP in 2030. You just watch. Okay. It's going to be a late stage growth spurt that no one's off. I'm just kidding. Please don't understand. I'm just kidding. Can I be the Sacramento GM? I extract 14 first-round picks for Kevin Herter, selling people on the white mamba potential.
There you go.
Of Austin Reeves meets.
He can be a great mentor to your savior, Grady Dick. There you go.
What can he do? If you don't work on your game, you'll basically end up where I'm at right now. It's like this. What we did with Stanley Johnson, and all our young wings. We brought in an example of what happens when you fuck up your career. Just brought him in, paraded him around as a prospect. Okay, let's open up the Sacramento Kings coffers. Y'all, the 5th team in the league, 5th team in the West right now. Flirting with contention, but maybe this deal puts you over. Okay, so Pascal's going the other way.
So HB Kevin,
yes sir, and
Kevin,
then basically,
and then you get what's his name? The go down, Sasha. You get Sasha.
So I like this deal.
Vezenkov, yeah.
And then you get a first, and then I'll throw in a little first-round pick for you.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? You better throw in more than one first-round pick.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
No
you want me to take on 3 years of Harrison Barnes' contract?
Forget that.
That's
3
great.
years of Kevin Herter.
That's culture, baby.
Yeah, we're getting culture from.
We're getting trolled right now, bro.
From who?
From Garrett Temple. He's basically Harrison Barnes.
He's
Yeah,
not.
bro,
The difference is
28, bro.
HB
Harrison Barnes
Stop
plays.
it. Yeah,
That's the difference. That's the only difference, though. But that's not.
That's
not
the real difference.
Is he starting for us? We're gonna pay a guy $17 million a year at age 31 to 34.
That's cheap.
Leo,
With the new salary cap?
Okay.
This trade, as it currently stands, it amounts to 0 players for the Raptors. I'm sorry.
Kevin Herter is a player. What do you mean?
Kevin Herter is nothing, and Sasha Vezenkov is 28 years old.
Bro,
He's
Kevin Herter shot 42%
rookie, bro.
from
He doesn't
three
even have a
last year.
picture on Fanspo.
Yeah. This is
They're
0.
both snipers.
Yo, Rob, give him Jalen McDaniels. Give him Jalen McDaniels. We're dumping salary too.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Bring
love
Jalen
McDaniels,
McDaniels over there.
please.
The man said he doesn't even have a picture on Fanspo. That's how irrelevant he is.
Listen, for these 3 guys,
At the very least, let's clean our books. You
know what? Let's make this a fair trade. It's these 3 guys.
Send them yak.
for
Send them
Gary
yak.
Trent. No, it's for Gary Trent.
That's fine.
And Jalen McDaniels.
I love Jalen, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay, and that's it. No Siakam. There's no Siakam in this trade.
What?
Are you kidding me?
What?
That's where Leo lost it. He's like, "What?
No.
We'll take all of these guys that you're trying to discard, but no Siakam."
I would take.
No, you're giving up multiple picks for this. There's no way in hell you do this without multiple picks.
You're gonna pay with flesh. We're gonna take a pound of flesh because you won't give us Keegan Murray.
No, I mean, look, man, like
it's really how it has to be.
Look,
no, if
Leo,
this
how I feel about
like
Kevin Herter is irrelevant at this point. Like, I mean, the reality is
a ball player, whether I like him or not. Among NBA GMs, among players around the league, he's a fucking at worst 8th man. There's no way of cutting that.
Exactly.
He's
the best player you're getting is an.
He's still he would be your best shooter instantly. What do you mean?
No, he wouldn't.
No, but this is not somebody who's growing into our future.
He's 25 and he's on $15 million.
Pascal
What do you mean?
Siakam, as much as many warts as there are in his game, is
He
an
started
all-NBA player.
on the third seed in the Western Conference. What do you mean?
Vince,
Oh my God.
Vince, you're fighting on the Herder part. What about Harrison Barnes? He's making like 18 million in 2 years.
Oof.
He might be in a wheelchair by then. He might be in a wheelchair.
We just got RJ Barrett, who's a better version of Harrison Barnes. Why the hell would
What? I would not say that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, he's a better, more upside.
Harrison Barnes is guaranteed 19 million.
Bro,
19 million in 25-26.
I just got to put this guy's face on the screen for you, just for a minute. Let's just absorb it.
Red Velvet in Canada. I mean, that sounds like Denny.
We had the Red Rocket for a while. He was great. He was a fan favorite.
You know how at the top of this talk, Robbie said how much I liked the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
but hate.
I watched every game of the Sacramento Kings last year. I shit you not. Right, and I love the team. The only part of the team I did not like was Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter was a.
This is your karma for not watching the Raptors last year.
Listen, he did have a role on the team. He does provide
a huge role.
He does provide like a niche service, but that's where it stops. It stops at niche service. He cannot.
No, he doesn't. He actually rebounds the ball really well for his position.
Come on.
What do you mean?
Listen, for Siakam,
this is cap. Like he's still a good shooter.
Listen,
he's going through a slump. He'd be your best shooter on the team now.
No, he wouldn't.
I would take.
Who's better than him?
I would take
Quickley.
Either Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga.
Hell no.
Solo.
Different types of shooters. I prefer self-generation shooters over movement shooters, but movement shooters are a good second up.
But you need that with Scottie Barnes. like you need that with him. What do you mean? Like that's the name of the game.
Here's the reality of the situation. Reality of the situation is in no world ever is he better even close to the value of Pascal Siakam. You're gonna have to give up 2 first-round picks, or this deal is a non-starter.
2? Oh, more than that.
No, you're not getting. This is not OG Anunoby with 2 years left on his contract. You're not getting 2 first-round picks. This has to also be. Please stop with the first-round pick stuff. All Kings picks are going to be 20s picks.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
They're going to be late. They're going to be, and if you give them Siakam, they're going to be late 20s picks. Right. So these are like the 27th pick in the 25th draft. Thank you very much. That's not really a huge asset.
And guess what you hope to get in those late rounds? You hope to land on a Pascal Siakam, and it's extremely unlikely.
It's impossible, almost borderline impossible. It'd be a 1 in 1,000 shot. Okay,
this is why going into this, I said there's no trade that plausibly works with Sacramento.
Look, you have to consider Harrison Barnes right now as a negative contract. You just have to. You cannot 100%. Possibly view it as an asset right now. Because if he were to hit the open market right now, he's a mid-level guy.
19 million.
Absolutely.
26.
Max.
He's going
two-year mid-level would be his upside as a contract right now. So you're overpaying not only this year, next year, and he's expiring the year following. Kevin Huerter right now is in a cold streak. He is not playing well. At his best, he is still not worth Pascal Siakam. Sasha Vezenkov, I like him, fits, but he's a bit of a wild card. He's an older rookie. He's 28 years old. Maybe there's some sort of unlocking, meshing with Darko Rajakovic, given the fact that they're both from the same country. That could be, some. We also have, an assistant coach who's from Serbia. So I mean, like there's going to be some familiarity with him, and I think he would be a massive upgrade over Jalen McDaniels. So, okay, I think I need the 2025 first-round pick. Top 8 protected.
Bro, you're putting protections on these picks?
Bro, no
are you what?
Insane, bro?
Bro, you putting protections on this stuff?
Am I crazy pills here?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Everyone puts protections
Everybody
on
puts
picks.
protections
Okay.
on picks.
Oh my god.
Okay.
No way.
So well,
what did you get? Okay. What did you get for OG again?
We got Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett.
The OG return was
let's be real. I would not trade you Immanuel Quickley for Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, Sasha Vezenkov, and a pick right now.
Right.
That's how much I value that guy.
Yes.
So the value of that dude is something else. Then I would want a 2028 first round pick also top 8 protected, and that would be how I would do this deal.
Oof, Rob, you're too nice, man.
I'm not being nice. I'm being realistic.
Nah, that's not realistic. Masai would never in a million years take this.
Rob,
Never.
I know you're not the biggest Pascal fan. Well,
I know. I know, right?
Come on, bro.
In a million years, Masai would
You're in for a
never.
rude awakening then.
Okay. This is the trade in theory, what I would present.
Throw the McDaniels. Bro, throw McDaniels in there.
Oh,
Throw him in there.
Yeah, we do have
no. You gotta throw McDaniels in there.
All right, because we gotta make the.
We gotta walk in this city. I gotta walk around in this city. I gotta tell them, yo, we gave him McDaniels.
Love it.
Watch McDaniels snap for them too, eh?
He would actually.
He would.
He
I love it. Give me McDaniels.
Okay, that works.
There it is. That's the move. Screenshot that, boys and girls.
Oh, God, I just vomited inside.
Here we go.
If we were actually in charge of this trade, we would not be allowed back in our city. We would not be back.
Okay, so Leo,
when this happens, we'll come back and we'll all have a beer.
Okay. Now I can let you know how I really feel about this trade. Now that I can take my GM cap. Actually, no. Let's move on to the final 2 trades, and then we can cycle back to what I actually think about these trades. Because obviously, I'm not giving you my real thoughts. I'm negotiating here. I am a fierce general manager, and I hope someone gives me this opportunity one day. Because I fucking fleece
If you were a real general manager, they would have been top 5 protected.
I'm not.
You're crazy. No, it wouldn't.
No, it
it's
wouldn't.
not. There's no way. You don't know how GMs really function. Like
this is the thing.
Monty McNair would never.
This is exactly it. You have to understand who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with the Hawks or the Warriors here. The Warriors and the Hawks are trying to save their season. The Kings can go in another direction. They have another option to supplement what they're trying to do. They can go to the Bulls. They can say, we want DeMar DeRozan, and they can pay less for, in theory, a player who's almost just as good, but a little bit older. So, okay, let's pull this off the screen and let us go. By the way, thank you to everyone sticking with us. It's pretty cool at 2:30 in the morning in Toronto that we have 450 people in here. That's wild and awesome, and I appreciate it. And hopefully this has been I hope this has been good. I hope this has been fun for people. I think we need fun after something like this, like a loss. Granted, I don't think it was a bad loss at all. I'm fine with this loss. The way it was going, it sucked. I kind of felt deflated at halftime. I was like, oh, here we go again. But they fought. They came back.
Oh shit.
Okay. Pascal Siakam, what are we doing for the Warriors? Now, can we clarify who's on whose side here? Because it kind of feels like 3 people ganging up on Leo, which isn't fair.
Well,
so if you guys
I don't need it. It's all good.
These aren't the Kings anymore. These aren't the Kings anymore. And Vince, you're a fan of this team too, right? Vince is a fan of every team except the Raptors.
No, Vince is a Raptor fan. He'll be back. He likes Immanuel Quickley. I have a feeling. Vince is non-responsive.
So the question here is Chris Paul or Wiggins as the bulk filler.
Okay, so here's the thing, Leo, you're the Warriors guy, right?
Okay. I'm giving you Chris Paul.
Make me an offer that I can't refuse.
I'm giving you Chris Paul.
And his X-rays. You're sending that too.
Go down. I can't see the other players. I'm giving you Kuminga and the first round pick.
No, I reject your offer. What's your second offer?
Oh,
we've lost Vince. Okay,
Rob,
this balances out. Okay, so in this one, I'm very firm about what I want, and Chris Paul ain't it. I'm not eating $30 million on a contract. Once again, I have Immanuel Quickley. I don't know if you read the news, but we fleeced the Knicks for Immanuel Quickley, and he's a little bit undersized to be playing 2. Which is why he was traded from the Knicks. I don't want to compound that by having a guy on a $30 million contract that's going to be a big expiring this summer that I have to worry about getting rid of, and I won't have any cap space to move around, potentially try to sign OG back from the Knicks. My little conspiracy theory. I don't want to take on another year of Chris Paul's money. I just don't. What am I hearing right now, that he's injured?
Yeah.
Okay, that too. That complicates your issue as well.
Okay, so I'm going to give you Andrew Wiggins.
That's 4 years.
Well, you have to eat it. Kuminga. Let me see. And then
just eat it. And here are these two subpar prospects. Eat that.
And then I'll give you Jui Santos.
Okay, first of all, it's Guy Santos. You don't even know your own fucking player's name. That's how irrelevant he is. Stop. Okay, I'm gonna make a rule for you. If the guy doesn't have a picture on Fanspo, you can't trade him to me. I don't want him. Okay, if he isn't good enough for Fanspo, he's not good enough for me.
It's funny because I watched him play.
I like him too. I'm kidding.
Him play in the G League, and I'm like,
no disrespect to Guy Santos. I like Guy Santos a lot.
Solid,
I actually posted a reel of his dunking earlier. He's friggin' incredible. I don't want him. No. I veto this.
Where are we at so far?
What's my money at? Let me see.
You're close, but in terms of this deal, I mean, I've added Andrew Wiggins here. I don't want him. So I'll give you an offer to I'll give you an opportunity to make a deal that you think is fair, and then I'll tell you what I actually want.
Can I interject one for 1 second here?
You have to take Wiggins.
Don't you think from a Golden State perspective that they're going to want to keep one of Kuminga or Wiggins?
Why? Yes. They're getting Siakam.
Yeah, but still.
No, I'd rather keep Moses Moody.
Okay, so, y'all negotiate this. I got to fill my water up. I'll be right back.
So I'm going to give you Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, and the filler.
So we're not getting Perjinski or Moody.
No.
It's got to be two of the four young guys. It's got to be two of the four. If no picks are included, has to be two of the four.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a pick. I'm going to give you a pick instead of the young guy.
And he's going to give us McDonald's coupons.
Yeah.
And some McDonald's coupons. So, yeah, Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, a first-round pick, and, somebody else. Let me see.
Okay.
We do know that Chris Paul just broke his hand today, right?
Yeah, that's why he's not part of the deal anymore.
Oh, okay. I
top
figured
10.
I
top
figured
10
that would
protected.
put him.
2025 top 10 protected?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you a 2026 round 2.
Okay. Sorry, I'm humoring you. I'm letting you construct this deal how you want before I rip it apart. This is not happening. Unless the next thing you say is I'm giving you every first round pick on my books. This is crazy value here. Jonathan Kuminga does not have this kind of value, bro.
No,
not even close.
Not at all.
Not even close.
Yeah, but you're getting a starter in Andrew Wiggins, though.
I don't give a shit about Andrew Wiggins.
He's actually a bench player now.
He's a bench player right now.
And he's Canadian.
I don't care about Canadian.
We already checked that box. We
checked that box twice. We got Boucher and we got him. We got
Perfect.
2. We don't
Team
need
Canada.
3. We don't need
Team
3.
Canada's coming.
No. The third Canadian I want on this team on this team is Kelly Olynyk. If it's not Kelly Olynyk, I want Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If it's not those two guys, I'm sorry. I don't want anybody. Trey Lyles. Give us Trey Lyles. We should have extracted Trey Lyles from the last trade.
Totally. Shit. You're not getting Trey. Yeah, I'll give you Moody. Go ahead.
Oh, you're just tossing in Moody? Okay, that changes the deal significantly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to keep him, but that's the deal.
Has to be 2 of the 4. But you're giving 3 wings. You're only getting 1 wing back.
Oh, actually, don't worry. You're getting you getting him back too.
True.
Bro, I don't know why Fanspo gave him a picture, bro. It's very misleading. They should give his picture to Guy Santos. For real.
Or Sasha
Vazenko.
All right,
actually.
Go ahead. I mean, that's the best deal you're gonna get out of all the teams, honestly.
Does this work?
No, Warriors are unable to, since they are over the apron team, they're only able to take back 110% of the salary they're sending out. Warriors can only take back 37.
So you can't give McDaniels.
No. Damn it.
It has to be Garrett. It has to be Garrett Temple.
Yeah, give him Temple.
Okay, it can't be either. And actually, even if I take Jalen McDaniels out, I think it still would fail.
Let me see. Take him out. Take him out. Try it.
It'll still fail. That's what I told you. It's 205K.
Hold up.
Y'all really did fail math, eh? Okay.
6
All right.
hold up. Well, you keep moving it. 6 + 4 is 10, 34. Fuck, you need one more player?
It's right here, bro. 37.8 million.
Oh,
34.2. They're over the cap. So
see, I am good at math. What do you mean?
Give us Gary Payton. What does he make? Oh no,
he makes a lot. He makes a lot.
Gary Payton.
He's injured again. Surprise.
Jackson Davis. Give us Jackson Davis.
You're not getting Jackson Davis.
Why?
Corey Joe. We get a little Corey Joe. There we go. We got some more.
There he is.
Guys, the solution is not taking more Raptors, taking more players back. I don't know if you realize, like, a team can only have a certain number of players. We're not cutting half our roster to make this deal work. So you have to get a third team involved to get.
What's Corey average?
$2 million a year.
Kojo averages $2 million a year. $2 million for 1 year. He's on a minimum contract. So is Dario Saric. If I had to pick one of these guys, I'm taking Dario. Easy.
They need him.
I know, but they're getting Siakam.
Yeah, but we're losing like fucking three wings.
Yeah, we're really doing much for you.
Stop it.
What are they doing besides witnessing the demise of a dynasty? What are they doing?
That's not on them though. That's on Steve Kerr, which I might even fire. How do you make this deal work then?
I mean, this is your deal. I'm gonna give you
what is
my
counter.
Make?
Pajemski makes 3.3.
You're not getting Brandon Pajemski.
How about if we?
That's where they draw the line, huh?
There's no way in hell.
Not for Siakam.
No.
It's not about not for Siakam. It's just you're already taking Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, drop Kuminga.
Then it doesn't work.
Okay. Let me make one little alteration and I'll make this deal work. You want to see it work?
Yeah, put Chris Paul in instead of Andrew Wiggins.
Well, duh, yeah, at that point.
So put Chris Paul instead of Andrew Wiggins and then add Pajemski.
Hang on.
Oh no, but they wouldn't take that. Actually, they might. Draymond Green.
I'm not gonna keep on Looney, bro. They have no size.
And then shovel in Jakob.
Where the hell is that guy? Jalen McDaniels. Boom. Try it. There's a deal that works.
But they're not going to give up Kevon Looney in that. It's impossible.
Why?
Who's their big after that?
They have Darius Saric. They have Pascal Siakam. They have Trace Jackson Davis. That's
they'll
3.
pass on the trade, bro.
Yeah,
they'll pass on it.
They wouldn't do that.
No.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. You want size?
Jakob Poeltl.
Give me Jakob Poeltl.
What the hell am I taking back in order to make that work?
Chris Paul.
CP.
What? Y'all insane. You think I'm
That's the only way it works.
Rob, our books are going to be pristine next year, bro.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but
that's the only way it works. You take out Kevon.
I'm sorry. Like, Jakob Poeltl is the young, like, he's
I mean, some days he looks 28, some days he looks 38. Yeah.
Fair enough. I would want another pick for this if I'm making this swap here.
Yeah. Because your front court.
I'm taking a player with a busted hand. Like I'm a little bit worried about this trade. First of all, Chris Paul does not fit on my team anymore. He did last week.
Yo, you know how this trade works? 2025 becoms unprotected.
What do you mean, though? I mean, Chris Paul is the perfect backup.
You're actually getting a front court.
But we have Dennis Schroeder, bro. Like, we got Dennis Schroeder here. Like, what are we doing?
Then you make an alternate. Then you go and trade him. Then
I'm scared to look at the comments. The comments are probably all like, "Rob, you're an idiot."
Sorry. What?
Then you trade him.
So why do you have Jakob? I'd say you just make it Chris Paul, Kuminga, one more young guy, for Pascal.
Okay, can I just scrap this trade because it's confusing as hell. Let me give you what I would do. Okay, so I give you Siakam. You give me I know this is gonna be unpopular with Raptor fans, but like I think it works. Okay, I want Draymond.
Okay. Chris Paul, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Pajemski for Pascal. That's it. That's the trade. That works.
I don't want Chris Paul. I like.
But
Chris Paul.
We don't trade it for Chris Paul. We're getting Kuminga and
That's
Pajemski.
not gonna work though. This is not gonna work.
It will work.
Hold on.
It does.
And then we're gonna make one more trade to make this work. We're gonna add Thaddeus Young, and we're gonna take back. Alas, the guy who makes it all work, Guy Santos.
Do we get pick equity here?
What the hell?
How would that work, bro? Like, it's
what did I just do? Oh my god, I'm so silly. Okay, I reversed it. My bad. Sorry, this is going to be the fail of the century. Okay, my bad.
You're the math guy.
My bad. We're running at 3 a.m. brain here. We have to reverse that. So we have to take back a guy who makes money. Unfortunately, that's going to have to be. They don't have those guys though. Like they have Kevon Looney, who you're saying is like quintessential to them. They have Gary Payton that you assume is quintessential. They can't make this trade, and you're going to say that replace Draymond for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I don't want Chris Paul on my team. You're gonna have to send him to a third team because I don't like. It's not that I don't like the guy. It's just he busted his hand, and he's undersized. And I have Immanuel Quickley and Dennis Schroeder here, and apparently Dennis Schroeder is here for life.
But then you trade Dennis to somebody else.
He's not going anywhere, bro. He's on the Raptor show every day talking about how he wants to build a culture of dynasty here, man. Like he's here for Darko, he's here for Masai, he's here for these dudes.
You rather have Chris Paul over Dennis? Sorry.
Of course I would. I would rather have Chris Paul at age 55 than Dennis, but it doesn't matter what I want. It matters what the Raptors want. So,
but that's the only way it works, though.
What if we take out Jonathan Kuminga and replace him with...
No, because they make less money. No, you have to add players with more money.
Guys,
mm-hmm.
So Rob, you're my co-partner here, the Masai to my Bobby or whatever. Who cares about Chris Paul? We make this trade for Pajemski and for Kuminga. That's why you make the trade.
Exactly.
That's it. And then you shed Chris Paul's money off your books, and you have a fresh young team to start with.
Or you trade Dennis, and then you keep you keep Chris.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a championship core around your player. Okay, let's restructure this deal because this is not working. So I'm gonna restructure the whole thing, refresh all of it. So it's almost like it doesn't work because Siakam makes too much for the players that I actually want back, which is Draymond Green, right? He makes $15 million less. So with these two as the framework, basically I need to add roughly $12 to $13 million to make this work. Instead of going that way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding stuff to make Chris Paul work. But I want picks because I'm going to make you a better team. So I'm going to give you Otto Porter. I'm going to give you Chris Boucher. And I'm going to give you Gary Trent Jr.
That's the only way it works. Yeah.
Hold on.
For
so
Draymond
now we're at...
And Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Hold on.
They're not going to deal Draymond, though.
Hold on.
Yes, they will. For this deal, they will. This makes sense.
This makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
But I'm going to need a lot back to make this work because I'm making you a drastically better team. I'm giving you a lot of impact guys from my team, and I'm giving you the best player in the deal by a country mile. So I give you Otto Porter. Okay, so in terms of salary in, salary out, I'm still about 20 million short. So we're going to start adding prospects here. Now that we have the salary spot, we can take 3 back. I'm going to take... Okay, hang on. Actually, okay, I'm actually going to do something else. There you go. There's your money match. I'm taking washed Clay off your hands. Pure reset. He's had bad energy. This is going to be a tough sell to Steph, but you're going to sell Steph on the fact that you can actually win now. Okay? Clay is not helping you. You're probably not going to be able to re-sign him. If you are re-signing him, well, guess what? He's an unrestricted free agent. Sign him anyway. You know, whatever. We are basically using him as a giant expiring contract. He's not going to get better. Like, I mean, his defense has fallen off a freaking cliff.
That's a tough sell, bro. Like, you're about to get both guys in this.
No, it's not. That would never happen, dude. If they're going to push for another championship, it will be with Draymond and Clay in tow, 100%. They're not going to. They're not going to win another
championship.
This is not championship time. This is reshuffle time.
If they have Siakam in the fold as well, it gets them closer to contending.
It has to be Chris Paul. It has to be Chris Paul in this deal.
The deal only works if it's Chris Paul and two young guys for Siakam, and that's it.
Fans Pro. Let me do it real fast.
Chris Paul, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green.
No, Chris Paul, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski for Pascal, straight up.
Straight up?
Picks. Get us a pick in there.
Let me see.
I think this is why third teams get involved.
Yeah.
And fourth teams. So
there might be I think it might be the only way, honestly.
Because, yeah, like you have to shuffle off Chris Paul's contract to somebody else. And it's not an expiring contract. And it's a 38-year-old dude making $30 million a year for the next 2 years. How is this an asset? It's not an asset.
Can you stretch and buy out?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you could. I don't know why you would want to eat that much money, though. It will still be a lot of money.
To get Kuminga and Podziemski in the door, Podziemski would be the star of this deal.
Okay, that is ridiculous. Okay, as much as I like him, Pascal Siakam is the star of this deal. This will forever and ever be known as the Pascal Siakam deal.
I meant for the Raptors.
Fair enough. But like, I mean, he's still like
it works, bro. Chris Paul, Kuminga, Moody in the pick for Siakam, that works. It's successful.
100%. I'm taking that all day, every day.
Kuminga and Moody.
Yes, it's successful.
I'm taking that every single day of the week.
That's the deal.
I'm buying him out.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's your deal, bro.
That's a fantastic haul. Getting those three young guys in the door.
I'm sorry, that's not a fantastic haul for a team that has Dennis Schroeder and Immanuel Quickley. There's nothing. There's nothing here.
That's the only way it works, though.
So you got to think
then it doesn't work.
In any trade.
So who are you trading them to then? To the Kings?
Well, here's the thing.
Fuck it. I love it.
Look, with any trade, you got to hope as the Raptors that at least that one guy at least pops and makes it to starter, like good starter level.
CP3 player. Is a non-guarantee next year.
Oh. How much of it is guaranteed though? All of it?
It doesn't matter. They'll find a way.
No, it does matter because I mean it impacts my cap sheet for this summer. Massively.
Yeah, but the point is this is the deal.
I agree with Leo. I think this is the deal.
Okay. Well, I don't do this without 2 picks.
You're not getting 2 picks out of the Warriors.
Well, I'm not taking Chris Paul for Pascal Siakam in 2023, 2024 after he just broke his hand.
You're not taking Chris Paul. You're taking Kuminga and Moody though.
Well, I don't value Kuminga the way you do. I think of him like evolved Precious Achiuwa.
Sorry, are we not including Podziemski in this?
No.
That's okay. I need to have Podziemski. If I'm eating Chris Paul's contract, that's why. It's because we're getting 3 prospects.
Then
right?
No, you're not. Then you take out Moody and you put in.
You know the way we really should have structured this is if I was the Raptors GM and you 3 actually represented the other 3 teams that were in this, and then I could actually pit you against each other. That probably would have been the best way to structure this out because it doesn't feel like I know who's on whose side right now.
It doesn't even matter, bro. This is the most realistic one. Like
Coach Mo is on my side. Is that it?
I'm on team extension now.
Extension.
Yeah, I'm after these trades. Well, I'm if they
Coach
extend
Mo.
Pascal, I'm good.
Coach Mo is basically the DeJounte Murray of we're gonna trade you to Toronto if you don't extend. Here's my extension. It's fucking hell. Okay.
Do you extend Siakam?
Honestly, man, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody is not moving the needle for me. I need picks. I need a lot of. I need. I'm sorry, man. What are we talking about here? What has Moses Moody been?
When he plays, he's extremely solid.
Oh man.
When he plays, he is extremely solid.
He's a decent young player. He's like, okay, if we did a redraft of the 2021 draft, where does he go? Be honest.
In the top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, who are we talking about here?
Okay, wait, maybe like right at the end.
Yeah, like he's playing on a team with a coach that doesn't like to play young players.
That's not true. See, this is where I get really upset with guys like Kevin O'Connor for saying this bullshit about like, oh, how he doesn't coach young players. He's starting Pajimski and a second round pick in Trace Jackson Davis.
He benched them though after someone came back. Like he didn't start consecutively games. Like he benched them for somebody else. It was against the Nuggets, I think.
But I'm saying, like, you're acting like he doesn't develop talent or he doesn't, like, and it's like at some point you have to give him talent to actually develop. If he'd had Scottie Barnes instead of Moses Moody, I'm pretty sure Scottie's a better player today. Now, in terms of Moody, like, I can get on board with Moody being my favorite player coming back in this deal. Moses Moody does not hold a candle to how I feel about Immanuel Quickley right now. Granted, he's younger. He's 21 years old. I get that. But he's not like a big dude, man. He's 6'5". He's 6'4" and a half.
He's not 6'5".
Yes, he is.
Bro, he's bigger than Gary Trent, and I was next to Gary Trent today. And Gary Trent 6'5".
Gary Trent 6'4".
No. He's 6'5". With shoes for sure.
Yes, with shoes he is 6'5".
I mean,
it makes him a little bit undersized.
Do I see guys barefoot here? I mean, people at the arena are walking with shoes, bro.
Are they walking in Timbs? Okay,
yeah.
Here's the thing. His draft measurements are as follows for Moses Moody. Hang on, and Jonathan Kuminga. I guess we can look them both up at the same time. So let me just look at wingspan. Height without shoes, 6'4". Where is he? So he is. Where the hell is he? I have a feeling that's why he slipped. I have a feeling it's because of his measurements. But where the hell is he? Where's Moses Moody? Okay, 6'4" and a half without shoes, 6'6" in shoes. He has an 8'9" standing reach and a 7-foot wingspan. Okay, so I see him as a shooting guard. Like he's a guard. He's not a guy who can ever guard a 4. That's how I see it. He's a wing. He's a smaller wing though. Even with his wingspan, he's got the same measurements as Taylor Horton Tucker with an extra inch of height. So that's more of a guard, right? And
he plays bigger than that though. He definitely plays like if you watch him play, he's definitely
the wingspan helps for sure.
He plays bigger. I don't get caught up in the I'm 6'4", I'm 6'5". I'm like, bro, like he plays like a small forward for sure. That's what
he's flashed positive potential for the first time in his career. He's a positive player for the first time in his career this year. His overall advanced stats are -4, -2.5, -2.6, and positive 0.3 this year. So he's been positive this year. Even at his best, he is nothing close to even. Honestly, man, he might be a less exciting prospect than RJ Barrett.
He don't have RJ Barrett habits though.
That's fair.
Which makes
he's a role player,
which makes him more exciting. But RJ's a role player, and he has bad habits. He's a glorified role player who is Canadian.
Fair. Okay.
I mean, let's
so I think like I'm at a point right now where I need picks back for this deal. Like, I mean, I want to.
I mean, you get one for sure, but you're not getting two out of them. Dunley is not giving you two, bro, for Siakam. On an expiring deal, when you're giving up two of your
but they would know they can re-sign him. They can offer him the 5th year. They have his bird rights. They don't have cap space otherwise.
You don't want.
And also, may I just mention, you're extending the window of one of the 5 greatest players of all time to actually compete. Like, you're giving them way more. Like, this is a team that paid $68 million for Kelly Oubre, basically in tax. Like, they care. They care about this. This is big money. Getting Pascal Siakam in the door is big value for this
What does
team.
that do for them, though, honestly? Does it get
Pascal Siakam gets them the Dude, Pascal Siakam plus, and you get to keep Draymond and Clay? You just slot Siakam in? I'm not taking Draymond. Draymond is still, if I look at the analytics, I promise you Draymond is still one of the most switchable and best bigs. 100%. If you can get Siakam to buy in defensively, you have one of the best defensive front courts in the league.
1,000%.
With Draymond, plus you get to keep Andrew Wiggins if he ever snaps out of his funk. Dude, this completely reorients and completely changes your championship odds. This is why I say you have to know who you're dealing with. I'm taking you from you might miss the play-in if shit continues to hit the fan to you might actually make the finals with this team. That's 100%. How massive a difference this is. In terms of how much Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and Chris Paul are actually impacting winning for you right now, not much. Not much. Having Chris Paul on your roster just means you have to play smaller because he's a really good player that you have to play, and you have to play him with a guard. So, and you're not going to play Steph Curry less than 40 minutes or 38 minutes or 36 minutes or whatever he plays. So at times they're going to share the court together. It's not optimal. It was never a good fit. It doesn't work. I'm giving you a guy who does a lot of the same stuff that all these guys do, blended into one very good player. I don't see how the hell I do this deal without two first round picks. And if 2 first-round picks are not on the cards, then fine. I'll give you protections on the 2027 pick, like top 8. I'll give you top 8 protections.
2 second-round picks.
No, not interested in second-round picks. I want 2 first-round picks, or I want no deal.
But roughly to give fans a perspective, like, this is probably the deal that's going to happen, which is to the Warriors.
Could I interject for 1 second? I feel like with the way that they're playing now, I would not put it past Masai to re-up Pascal. If the right deal is not available to him, if he doesn't think he's getting fair value back,
bro, they're trading him.
Okay.
Yeah, like they're going
I'll see it when I believe it. I'll see it when I believe it. If
you'll believe it when you see it.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it for sure. But if they don't offer up what he's like, first of all, I keep harping on this. I feel like Podziemski needs to be in the deal. I think he has to be in the deal. I think that
I agree.
I just mean if I'm
I know you value him.
Yeah.
And I value him too. And I was very high on him at the draft. I think he was 14th or 15th on my board. I like him a lot. What you're not probably seeing out of this is a guy whose stock is very high. He is a rookie. There's considerable value for the Warriors, who are very, very capped out and going to be even more capped out to keep him because he has 3 more years left on a first-round rookie deal in which he is massively going to outperform.
Okay.
There's so much value in him.
Yeah.
Now, that value, by the way, is not about the player that he is only, but also the contract that he is next to all these guys and how he fits in their lineup. He works for us for a multitude of reasons. He's a really smart player. He really works in this type of offense that we're trying to run. The issue is his stock is relatively high relative to the player that he actually is. It's like you're buying a stock when it's 20% overvalued and you're putting that into your deal. But the other team also knows that their stock is overvalued. The guy's a rookie and he's come out like gangbusters. Do you realize he's actually young? He's actually older than Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody?
100%. I totally know that. I still want him in my door if I'm a GM. Right. And I still
he's also, by the way,
GM,
may I also mention he's super small. Super small.
He's
6'3" with a 6'5" wingspan. May I just say he and Immanuel Quickley are not going to be a good it's not a great defensive backcourt pairing. Would you agree with that?
We want to chip with Van Vliet and
these are
Kyle
not
Lowry,
Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry. These are not Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry. I promise you, defensively, Immanuel Quickley is not Kyle Lowry, and this guy is not Fred Van Vliet.
100% he is not. But if he's one of your 3 guards on your team in your rotation, I think you're miles ahead of the game. I would value him higher than either Moody or Kuminga, getting one of those guys back. So even if it had to be 2 of them, let's say if it just had to be Kuminga and Pods, I'm valuing that more so. And I think from the Golden State perspective, they see that and talk themselves into the fact that with Pascal in the door, even with Pods out, we have enough to compete, right?
Pods is 20 years old, by the way, and he's
shit, my bad. He's 1 year younger. Sorry, he's 1 year younger than those guys. My bad. I thought he was 21.
Pods is a potential, like, I don't want to say all-star, but maybe whatever just underneath that is
which is why you're not going to get him.
Look, man, he's a motor guy. Okay, he goes balls out 24/7. He is a very good rebounder for his size. He's very creative. His true shooting percentage is 57%, which is incredible. Shot quality is 51st percentile shot quality. As a rookie, like, he's flashing potential to be one of the 5 to 6 best rookies in this class right now. Okay, this is like,
here's the thing.
He's basically like Keegan Murray right now.
Here's the thing. If they keep their team intact, they are not winning a chip. If they trade for Pascal, they could win a chip. Therein lies the big difference. If they sacrifice either Kuminga and Pods for Siakam, they could with good conscience convince themselves that they can compete in the West.
I think they trade for Siakam with this deal, and then they go out and then trade Draymond and Clay for somebody else.
But why couldn't you just trade Draymond and Clay to us and give us all your picks for the rest of your lives? Why couldn't you just do that?
Because they're looking to win a chip, and they know with Siakam, it's not a chip. It's like it's moving towards that direction.
But he won a chip with technically.
So I think what they do is they go they'll probably make this deal here, and then they'll call Chicago and go trade for Zach LaVine. So then they'll have Zach LaVine.
LaVine for who? For Clay?
For like Clay and like a pick. And then they get out, and then Chicago gets off of Zach LaVine's contract, which is what they want to do anyway. So that's probably what they do. So it's Zach LaVine, Pascal, Steph, and then they just roll with that. That's what the Warriors are probably thinking.
We need to move on to the final team. Let me just put this on the deal. Do you agree or do not agree to this trade?
So does OKC trade you Giddey?
Huh? I don't want Giddey. Don't bring that guy up.
I don't want Giddey.
Who else would they trade you? Like, they're not going to trade you J-Dub.
No, they wouldn't. A deal does not work with OKC.
I don't think OKC is necessarily looking to make a deal. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think that's going to happen. Would you trade Pascal and Grady? Rank Scrub said, would you trade Pascal and Grady for AD?
Grady, duh.
Duh,
but they're not doing that.
Facts. Rank Scrub saying, have you looked at the Lakers options? Anything to beat the Clippers? Right?
Yeah, but they're not giving up AD.
They're not giving up AD.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. I don't love this deal, but I can see why you would want to bank on upside and why you're kind of backed into a corner. And really, this deal is you eat 1 year of Chris Paul's contract. He becomes a massive expiring with not a guaranteed contract next year. So you're basically doing this trade for Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and 2 first-round picks. The 2 first-round picks will be later down the line. You're giving them the best player in the deal. You're bolstering the hell out of their championship odds. You're not taking anything back from them for it. So I would say this is a deal that probably would be considered by most people a win-win in terms of ESPN and their reporting. They would probably consider like, oh, well, the Raptors are going young and Jonathan Kuminga can be all this and that and whatever. I don't see it with Jonathan Kuminga, and I'm not sure that I necessarily see it with Moses Moody either. I could see a situation in which Moses Moody becomes a much better version unlocked under Darko. Maybe there is still some, like untapped potential. Certainly Darko has a lot of experience working with guys like Moses Moody. Desmond Bane, Mikal Bridges. He's had a lot of guys who are wings develop as more, right? So I would like this as a experiment. I wonder, and Jonathan Kuminga kind of slots into the theoretical upside OG Pascal replacement. Long wing, long arms. You get 2 of those guys. You get 2 first-round picks. Whatever. Let's move on. Final trade, Atlanta.
Boys, I got to tap out here.
All right, man.
It's crazy. I got to be up in like 6 hours.
All right, man. Peace, Vince. Thanks for dropping by.
Peace, brother.
Always a fun time. Take care,
All right,
boys.
see you, man. Okay. Final trade is okay. We're gonna go for Atlanta, and hopefully this one goes fast because the deal is it writes itself. Okay.
So the Thunder deal would be Bertans, Giddey, Kentrich Williams, Cason Wallace, and 2 first-round picks.
I take that deal and run. Cason Wallace? Shit, I would take that deal and run. The problem is, once again, this is, and I'm not throwing any shade on Immanuel Quickley. Plus, please understand, I love the guy. But when you trade for a guy like that, the next player you trade for him is either 6 foot. The next player you trade to slot next to him is either 6'5" or his backup, because he didn't come here to be anyone's backup, right? I don't want to run into the same situation where 2 of my 4 best players, because I'm experiencing it right now with Dennis. Dennis has to be on the court to finish the game because he's better than RJ, right? I don't want this. I can't see the upside of having 2 players that are under 6'2" as my best players. Cason is amazing, but
Josh Giddey is 6'8" though, so like that's.
But I can't play these guys together. Josh Giddey can't shoot, bro. So I would take that as a asset haul. Pray on my life that Josh Giddey's lawsuit thing clears up. But like, how do I play these guys? This is the issue.
You can't play Wallace and
Immanuel Quickley is more of a combo shooting guard, bro. Like, you can definitely
Cason Wallace and Immanuel Quickley are both combo guards. Neither one of them are pure point guards, right?
So you put a pure point guard with them. Josh Giddey is a pure point guard.
So I'm going to have oh, man, that's interesting. And I would feel fine about that if I didn't have Scottie Barnes on this team, but I do. And I'm very thankful for it every single day. Okay, let's go to Atlanta. Hawks. Okay. Siakam, you're gone. What's coming back? Hunter Bogdanovic or Murray Okongwu? I don't think you're getting Murray and Okongwu. DeJounte Murray's defense has fallen off a cliff. Have you noticed this?
Mm-hmm. And I watched him against the Kings. Fuck, he was so lazy off the ball. Like, he was getting backdoored by everybody. Like, I was like, damn.
Yeah, and also, like, he's also a little bit undersized now to play next to, Immanuel Quickley. Like, I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's like the same profile physically as Moses Moody. But he's more slight of build, defensively. And if his defense is kind of falling off, then I'm paying for an all-star who may never be an all-star again. I love him. I love him as a person and everything, but he's got long-term money assigned. If he's falling off a little bit right now, that scares me.
So it's what is it? Is it 18 million or is that his new deal? Like, is that
no? His new deal is 30. His 30 kicks in next year though. It's 30 for 4. 30, so it's 30, 30, 30, 30.
Okay, 30.
Or it might have escalating value. So Bogdanovic, just to get a 31-year-old that the coach is very familiar with in the door, another Serbian guy, he loves him. You know him too. There you go.
That's my boy. Yeah, I mean it's that makes sense. I mean, you put DeJounte and Bogey and for Pascal.
DeJounte and Bogey.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I think that's the best. I mean, that's the second best deal besides Golden State.
Now tell me how the hell I'm supposed to play all these players together. I'm not bringing DeJounte off the bench. So I'm supposed to play Quickley, Murray, Barrett, Barnes, Jakob?
Yep. What's the problem with that? And you bring Bogey off the bench. That's exactly what he is. He's a secondary playmaker who you can put the ball in his hands with that second unit. He'll stagger minutes with RJ. He'll stagger minutes with Scottie. And he's a shooter too. Like this is probably your deal right here.
So like my framework for this deal is always young players. Your framework for this deal is basically Siakam for DeJounte swap with Bogdanovic thrown in to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Who again? DeJounte is 27 years old, so he's not old. He's an actual player, borderline all-star.
Let me expand. No, he's not an all-star, and he's not even close this year. He might be a top 75. He might be a top 75 player this year, and that's a massive downgrade. Hey, Jonte Porter has a picture. Love it.
What?
I love it.
That's
so funny. You're just like, why does Guy Santos and Sasha Vezenkov? I have a feeling Fanspo has an international bias, but then it doesn't explain Marquise Noel not having a picture. And it also doesn't explain this guy having a picture. Vit. I've never even heard of this guy. Vit Krejci.
How does he have a fucking picture?
Who is this guy? How does Seth Lundy have a picture before Sasha Vezenkov? We need to know. Inquiring minds must know. Okay. I think the framework of this deal is cool. I mean, I like Bogdanovic. I mean, you get some certainty if you're the Raptors.
Yep.
You also technically get
what you want,
and you also get two guys for the same price that you were gonna pay Siakam, which is close to $50 million.
Mm-hmm.
Would you trade Gary if Siakam? Okay, so let me. I don't want to be greedy, but I don't think DeJounte is quite worth Siakam with his fall off this year. Siakam's playing better than him by far.
But Pascal hasn't had.
Look at their LeBron metrics. Like, if I do this trade, it's going to tell me that I'm giving the Hawks like 4 wins, and he's not that much younger than Siakam. Like, he's playing himself out of this, right? He basically signed an extension and fell off a cliff. That's not a good look for anybody, right? So if I add Gary Trent,
it's hard to play in Atlanta, bro. You're playing next to Trae Young.
But what does that have to do with your defensive effort?
He's just checked out.
Okay, well, I'll
expand. We can say the same thing about Pascal.
I'll expand this deal.
He's not great defensively either.
They want to get off of DeAndre Hunter's contract, right? They do. That is a massive overpay. He has not played up to that contract. We're clearing their books. They're going to need some. I'm giving you an expiring Gary Trent Jr. who can replace Bogdanovic because you're losing some shooting off the bench. We'll take DeAndre Hunter, and I want AJ Griffin and Kobe Buffkin, and that will make the deal work for me. And I'll throw in I don't know, something like a.
No, you're not getting Kobe, but
why not?
Because now it's not a deal. But that's it. Like, if you take out Kobe, that's
if your goal is to be good, I'll give you Otto Porter too. There you go. I just gave you a guy who could easily net me a first round pick somewhere. Would this work for you as a framework?
No, because the Hawks don't want to give up on Kobe.
What has Kobe Buffkin done? These are 2 late first round, mid first round picks.
What's the purpose of adding AJ and Kobe to this?
Well,
and Otto,
I'm expanding the deal.
That's not realistic though. Like, typically
a 4 for 5 swap is very unrealistic. Trade. I know that.
So it's going to be Gary Trent, McDaniels, Pascal for DeJounte, Bogey, and DeAndre Hunter. Like, that's your deal.
But I'm not taking DeAndre Hunter's contract unless I'm getting those 2 guys. That's the point. That's why I added Gary to this deal. I'm adding Gary and Otto as valuable assets for you as expiring contracts who are actually serviceable players. They replace your player, DeAndre Hunter. And I'm basically I'm batting on a little bit of upside. I need young players back in this deal, man. Like, I'm still giving you the best player in the deal. Okay, if I took Kobe Buffkin off this deal, would that make it work?
You have to take out AJ, and then I'll just add a first round pick to it.
I'm more inclined to say you need to add AJ and like a second at this point. Like,
I'm just telling you what the Hawks are gonna do, bro. Like they're
not playing AJ Griffin. What value is this? You know, let me know, chat. Like what's happening? Atlanta trade Dunzo, Pascal, and Grady for JJ, Hunter, and Filler. Grady or Gary? I'm not trading Grady. JJ or we hang up. They're not trading Joe and Johnson, bro. Not getting JJ or Okongwu is a massive L. Yes, and that's how they will sell it to their fan base. We kept those two young assets out of the deal, but we had to give up on Kobe Buffkin or AJ Griffin. That's how it works. JJ or we hang up. Then we hang up. It's not going to happen, bro. Like I know you want to fleece somebody, but it doesn't work that way. You're already getting competent players back who fit better with your guy, and they're getting a competent guy back who fits with theirs. I think if you look at this from the roster build perspective, I think like let's try it. It's a success. So with no picks added, does this work?
Yeah,
I think like
it works.
Like if you look at this from the perspective of the Raptors, why do the Raptors do this? Like, I mean, fair question, right? You get a little bit younger. You do bat on some upside with DeAndre Hunter, but you already have DeAndre Hunter. Now you have also RJ Barrett. Like you have two guys you have to rehab. So you're really taking three guys that you have to rehab their value. But I do think from the Raptors perspective, if your goal is to put guys around Scottie who can shoot, now you have accomplished your deal because every one of these guys can shoot, all of them. So you're granted, you're also getting rid of two guys who shoot and one guy who should be able to shoot in Jalen McDaniels. But I think you're getting guys who are a little bit younger. You overall get younger in this deal. AJ Griffin and DeJounte Murray being younger than like as a combo, they're considerably younger than Gary Trent Jr. and Pascal Siakam.
The Raptors 1000% win this trade. That's why I don't think it's realistic.
You think they win this trade?
1,000. It's a landslide.
Bro, Fanspo is saying the Hawks get 5+ wins out of this.
What that thing says, bro.
It's facts. They are better. They are much better because of this. And by the way, Gary and Otto are having terrible seasons. Terrible seasons. More terrible relative to their expectations than DeJounte. DeJounte is underperforming by 10%, 15, 20%. Otto and Gary are underperforming by like 100% right now.
You give me a lineup of DeJounte Murray, Quickley, RJ, Scottie, and Yako.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take that. With Bogey coming off with DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench, and
DeJounte does a lot of the same stuff Pascal does. People who watch him would know that. Like he is a better passer for sure, but like as a defender, he's smaller.
You just got players though. Like
yes. That's the whole point of all of these deals is you got more talented.
Jalen's not playing as much. Like he's a fucking like 15th type of guy. Gary's gonna leave no matter what. Otto's gonna leave no matter what. So all you're really losing is Pascal, and you're getting like real NBA players out of this. That's
I'm basically stacking my cap. Right, I'm losing flexibility, and that's fine. It's not a free agent destination, and I want guys under team control. But I'm taking DeAndre Hunter's contract back, and this is the thing: taking on Hunter's contract and handing a playoff hopeful Pascal Siakam means we need 3 to 4 young stars back, or we hang up. Maroon, I think you're sort of underselling DeJounte Murray and what he might be. Now, a part of this is also contingent on how does DeJounte Murray feel about coming here. Because somebody said on, I think it was Samson, who said recently that effectively they told him that they were considering trading him for Pascal Siakam in the offseason, and he immediately agreed to an extension. So maybe he did not want to be here.
Lila Alvarez, why would Atlanta? Exactly. Like this is like a highway robbery by the Raptors, by the way.
It's not. It's not even close.
Crazy.
It's not a highway robbery, dude. What are you getting? You're getting long-term dollars attached to Bogdan Bogdanovic,
which is fine.
He's 31 years old. You haven't signed till he's 35, and he's a defensive liability. He is a defensive liability.
That's fine. He is huge liability.
And DeAndre Hunter is an NBA liability.
Who?
He's not a good player. DeAndre Hunter is not a good player.
That's crazy.
You think he's a good player?
He's a player. He's a rotational piece on the playoff team. Yes.
Oh my God.
He is.
He's not. They've played him in spite of themselves. I mean, not that
I would take him 10 out of 10 times over Gary Trent Jr. I'm sorry. I would take him over Otto.
Do you know?
Take him over Jalen McDaniels.
You're familiar with value over replacement, right?
Bro.
As a stat, I know you don't care. That stuff. But if I sort the 2019 NBA draft, okay, near the bottom of that list are guys like Precious. Sorry, not Precious. Precious was 2020. Near the bottom of that list is Jalen McDaniels. Near the bottom of that list is RJ Barrett. For good reason. These guys have played a lot of minutes despite being not very good basketball players. DeAndre Hunter is the bottom of that list. There were 60 players drafted in the fucking draft. He's 58th. He's bad.
And
he's been bad.
Atlanta gave up a lot for DeJounte. Like, they're not getting picks out of this either.
I don't care.
But you're getting a rental, bro. Like you're thinking like a Raptor fan right now. Like you're not thinking like how the GM is thinking. Like that's the problem here. Like
you're right. You would have
this.
If
This
you're,
is
if
like
you're
a
Atlanta,
highway
have
robbery.
To know.
This is a highway robbery.
It's not a highway robbery. If it was a
though.
highway, in order for this to be a highway robbery, and by the way, this is what Maroon Prince is not like thinking about.
All NBA star. What do you mean, Taha?
Who's saying that?
Some guy named Taha Zaidi. Bro,
laugh my ass off. Leo dumping three
you're a
long-term
like,
garbage
you're
contracts for an all NBA star and expires. Calling it highway robbery is unhinged. Taha Zaidi, you calling probably the 40th best player in the NBA and all NBA star is actually more unhinged.
It's unhinged. Oh God.
Yeah, Don Vito is the corrector. Look, like I think right now, RJ Barrett, DeAndre Hunter, both hit free agency. Both are mid-level exception guys. I'm just being straight up. They're both signed to long-term money, and they're both making 20, 22, 23, 24, whatever. Okay, RJ's making more.
There's still 6'8" wings that are serviceable.
So is Jalen McDaniels. It does not mean I would not send him to the Guangdong Tigers tomorrow.
Yeah, but Jalen McDaniels is making $4 million for a reason, though.
But that's the point. These guys should be making like 10, 12 million. So the fact that they're making 22 is like a $10 million tax.
But like there's a tier of like skill set. DeAndre, RJ are substantially better than like Jalen is. Like let's
fair, but they're not what you think they are. Like
are they not $16 million better?
No.
They're what? 12. Okay, now we're playing.
How can you be $16 million better if I'm telling you that your contract value right now in the open market? Like, let me just put this away. Forget RJ Barrett is a third overall pick. Forget that he's a former number 1 recruit. Forget that DeAndre Hunter is a top 5 pick. Just look at the players as they are, which is what you should do 4 years removed from when they were drafted. Okay, this is not Jarris Walker, who was drafted 2.5 months ago. This is not Dyson Daniels, who was drafted last year. We're talking about guys who've had substantial run, and this is not Moses Moody, who's been buried on a bench where there's like, ooh, might pop, different system, etc. These are guys who've started major minutes for good teams that have sucked badly, have irritated their fan bases ad nauseum. These guys are basically Terrence Ross. Now, do they still have some athletic upside that made them those top 5 picks? Sure. But here's how I see it. There's like, I call it, in my head, I call it the Drazen score, the Drazen Petrovic score. Okay. Basically, how likely is a prospect to pop at their second stop? I consider this like DeAndre Hunter is less likely to pop at this stop than RJ Barrett is. The only reason that I could ever see RJ Barrett popping here is, number one, he's in a faster paced offense, and it goes to his strengths. With DeAndre Hunter, I'm not really seeing, like, he's a better player than RJ Barrett for sure, defensively. But offensively, he has a lot of the same gaps. He doesn't decide things very well. He's not great with read and react. He's far more efficient. He's doing a much better job.
He's a 40% 3-point shooter.
Yes, this year.
Which is fine. Like, that's what you need around Scottie Barnes.
Bro, like, I think you need to really, really consider the fact that number one, he's 26 years old. Okay. That's worth noting. Okay. He's 26 years old. And yeah, like 60% shooting is a massive outlier for this guy. Now, did he genuinely get better? Maybe. But do you know, he still, even with all the shooting improvement, he still has a negative value of a replacement. How is that possible? You are a 6'7", 6'8" guy with 7'2" wingspan. How is it that at 26 years old you still have that?
I'm gonna take a guy that's shooting 40% on.
Then the Kings, he's a pretty okay defender. You guys should trade for him. You should trade.
I would say Harrison Barnes for him.
That's the point. Why would they do that? They're getting older and worse in that deal because Harrison Barnes is worse than him.
Exactly. So that's my point. So
but he's also paid more and for longer. That's the thing. See, if you're if you're eating negative value back,
but you always talk about salary cap, right? How it's going up, yada yada yada. $20 million is the new like $12 million.
Depending on how far back you're going. $20 million is the new. No, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think I would go that far. I think $20 million is the new $15 million. I think that would be more fair.
He's worth that. Like he's a $15 million player, which is fine.
But you still have to deal with you have to deal with the consequences of the cap that exists now. Like you can say, okay, the last year of RJ and DeAndre Hunter, if they don't do anything substantial to improve their value, okay, the last year of that deal might be a little bit better because the cap is improved. Like right now, RJ might be, I think he's a top 80 paid guy, right? Or a top 75, top 70 paid guy, right? At 23 million. So when extensions kick in this offseason and next offseason, then 3 years into this deal, he might be the 115th or 120th paid guy. Same thing for DeAndre Hunter, right? So locking these guys up long-term is a strategic move that they will somehow project up. And I'm just saying, when the upside is so demonstrably low, like with DeAndre Hunter, like I've seen this guy start. He's had opportunities to start. He's not been buried behind some guy on the bench, or he's not like playing on some terrible team where I'm like, oh man, it must be the team culture. It must be the roster around him. It's not like a situation like where like I look at a guy like Jaden Ivey, right? I'm like, maybe like that is a guy who could pop, I would happily like trade Pascal Siakam for Asar Thompson and just kill all my spacing in one move.
I guarantee Siakam gets All NBA consideration on his new team.
Who says that? Is it the same guy?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you're just a Siakam fan, bro. Like,
is there a more annoying fan base of one particular player in the NBA? This is one reason the Kings should, like, if the Kings do trade for him, you get to inherit all of these dudes. That's part of the trade. They all follow you, and then they'll be like, why does De'Aaron Fox get so many touches? Why not pass to Pascal Siakam? He's a champion. What is De'Aaron Fox won? Pee Wee championship in grade 6. He's not a champion. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
that's true.
I mean, look, it's funny because today I tweeted out in support of Siakam because the Raptors have this open gym, show that they do, which is great and very well produced. And they have Masai talking to Immanuel Quickley, and he says to him, you're going to fit in great here with Scottie, right? He doesn't even bring up Pascal. And I don't know if that's just the edit. Maybe he does talk about Pascal. I doubt it. Even in the summer, they traded they drafted Grady. He's going to be great for Scottie. When they hired Darko, well, we think he really wants to play the way Scottie wants to play. This is before Scottie made his big jump, by the way.
Yeah.
So this is Scottie coming off, 0.4 boxes minus regression across the board, shooting 15% from 3 for an entire month, having the entire media space question his work ethic. This is like, wow, faith that the Raptors organization showed in him. And he's repaid it. He's been friggin' amazing. I just want to say, as an incumbent star player on the team that still buys that he is a legit guy, like I'm saying Pascal's barely top 40 guy. He probably sees himself as a top 20 guy, as he should. Who wouldn't, And arguably, if he plays out the entire season the way he played out December, he is a top 20 guy. I think we're undervaluing him massively. If look, he's been checked out defensively. OG was checked out defensively to hell, right? But when this guy tries on defense, like I see shades of like some of the best defenders in the league in him. So my big thing, and I think this may be his fans who watch him super closely, maybe their big thing too, is they only see what he can be. They don't see what he is, how he's seen, his contract, they just see, but they're getting a 30-point per game guy. And I get that. From their perspective, I get that. And you know what? On a team like Golden State or a team like Indiana, they might be right. That team might get that guy. And I think if you're the Raptors, you have to preserve, some semblance of respect for yourself. Because right now, OG looks like the best defender in the league for New York. Through 3 games, he has been like, I haven't seen this level of defense in years in OG. Is this Tibbs? Is this their scheme? Is this playing with Isaiah Hartenstein? What is this? Because there's no Mitchell Robinson there, even bolstering it up. And he looks friggin' phenomenal. Like his advanced metrics defensively, the last 3 games are pretty staggering. So I'm like, what happens when you trade Siakam and he does the same shit? But unlike OG, he can do it on both ends. He's going to give it on offense and defense. If he starts going balls out defensively for Atlanta or Indiana or whatever, like, are we going to be staring at a guy who's going to put up like 32 points per game or 30 points per game in Indiana or 27 points per game in Indiana and play crazy defense? Like, that's a top 20 player in his prime. I think there's something to that.
I think that's very hopeful. But my computer is about to die, and I don't have a charger.
You don't have a charger? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is almost 3 hours in, so it's crazy. For us on the East Coast, this is the wee hours of the morning, 3:44 in the morning. That's crazy too. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Give me a final prediction. Like, which team is it? I think it's Golden State or Atlanta.
If I really do. It might be Golden State. As we found out during the trade, I don't really like what's coming back unless it's Draymond, but I couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
I thought Draymond would be the ultimate buy low, sell high kind of guy, because I think he could still anchor a championship level defense for like 2 more years. And I think he could really, really save, the Raptors from having to play Jakob Poeltl. Like, you saw how much they struggled with Jakob Poeltl tonight.
I thought they were better with like Chris Boucher, honestly.
That's the point. Because Draymond gives you both. He gives you the rebounding, he gives you the shot blocking, he gives you like physical defense, but he's also giving you toughness. I don't think. Have you ever seen DeMontis do this to Draymond? Right. That's my point. So I don't want Scottie having to anchor the defense. I don't want Scottie to have to. And I just think like if you're going to play RJ Barrett major minutes, you're going to need someone on the back line who can protect.
Yeah.
Right. So you need defense somewhere in your defense. You can't just have no defense anywhere, right? And that's where we are right now. We're a rudderless ship. So I don't know. Anyways, man, thanks a lot for coming on. Great show with you. Yeah, peace, man.
All right,
cheers. All right. Make sure to hit like on Basketball Zone's version of this video as well. It is at Basketball Zone, or just YouTube Basketball Zone Kings, and you'll definitely find it. If anyone else feels like calling, we can do one last call in if someone's been kind of waiting around. If you have thoughts on the trades that we presented, link is in the description. I will remind you to vote for Scottie Barnes for All-Star, vote.nba.com. And let me know which of these deals you liked. Actually, let me make it interactive. Hang on one second. I can do this now. I am a professional. Hang on one sec. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up and I'll be able to create a poll here. I should have done this while I was co-hosting because that would have been the perfect opportunity, but I didn't think about it. So which deal did you like the most? Also, thanks a lot for all the incredible growth of this channel. It's been very humbling, very staggering. Also, I need to find my mic stand. Okay, start a poll. One sec. Okay, there we go. Poll is up. Which deal did you like? I did not include the none of the above option because it only allows you to have 4 options, but I'm curious which of the 4 trades that were presented did you guys like? I can give you my thoughts on all the 4 trades now that Leo is gone, and we can, I can take off my I am negotiating hat and just kind of break it down. In terms of this game overall, like just to Sean saying, I think at some point, even if it's a minor deal, we have to try to get a stretch 5. I don't think any deals addressed that. Well, Jarris Walker addressed that, in fairness, unless you don't see him as a stretch 5, you see him more as a stretch 4. Stretch 5s are not common. Ones who can defend, you might have to develop that, or you might have to draft that because it's one of the most valuable player archetypes for sure. Okay, so in terms of our trade machines, our first trade was the Indiana Pacers. Buddy Hield, Jarris Walker, Jalen Smith, 2 second-round picks. That's what I settled for? What's wrong with me? Really? I can get a first-round pick out of this? Am I crazy? I said no to this. Please tell me I said no to this. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, what the hell am I thinking here? No, this is terrible. This is a terrible deal. This is a terrible deal that will never be done in the history of the world. I appreciate Buddy Hield. I like Jarris Walker a lot. I don't know how much the Raptors like Jarris Walker. Taha saying Leo offered you a first in there. Okay, cool. So this is just okay. We adjust. I don't know what these second round picks are doing here. Yeah. So let's adjust it to, I don't want the 2024 first round pick. I want the 2026 unprotected first round pick. And this I will do. I mean, this makes a little bit more sense. It's still a little bit dubious. I don't know. I've kind of talked myself into liking Siakam more throughout this conversation. I can't explain why that is, but yeah. Buddy Hield, Jarris Walker, Jalen Smith. And yeah, look, low key, I think Buddy Hield a really good movement shooter. I think it allows the Raptors to gather some intel in terms of what that looks like next to Scottie Barnes. I think so much of what the Raptors do well is information. A long time ago, not that long ago, a friend of mine who's very smart and, runs a fantastically successful company, he said, Rob, the next wave of Lyra saying you listen to Taha's all NBA talk. No, I'm just trying to understand how other teams could unlock him in ways that we haven't, like putting shooters around him. I think, I think that would overall. So in terms of Jarris Walker, I like him a lot. I think, he has a positive wingspan. I like his movement pattern overall. And next to Scottie, you get a guy who kind of slots into that OG role. Like he's not quite OG, sure, but he has the 3-point shooting. I think what I really want to do at this point is I want to give Darko stuff to develop, more so than picks. I want to give him stuff to develop now, because the sooner he and Jama can start working with these prospects, the sooner they can start correcting bad habits. And I trust this development staff implicitly. I trust them a lot. So giving them a guy like Jarris Walker at this stage of his career when he's, 18, 19, 20 years old or whatever, with his attitude, I think he fills in really beautifully for you. Naturally, if he doesn't pop, you got nothing in this deal for Siakam. And that would suck. So I understand the concept of also going 2 for 1. But if you could have done the New York deal without RJ Barrett, you probably do it you just probably do it. Just salary matching. You couldn't trade for RJ Barrett without taking back a contract. And, you chose to take back RJ Barrett as opposed to Evan Fournier because you see some theoretical upside in RJ Barrett, and he may live up to that. He may not. The other good thing about this is it kind of clears your cap, right? Jalen Smith is a rotation big, right? If you end up trading away Thaddeus Young and Chris Boucher, this is a cheap option. He's also technically a stretch big, right? He's a guy who can shoot a little bit. Let's stop that. Okay, move on to the next trade. But I like Jarris Walker a lot, and I think more than most. Why he's not playing, that's your bet is as good as mine. Okay. Let's share this. In terms of the Golden State deal, I probably like this one the most, especially if Chris Paul's contract, if I recall correctly, is not guaranteed or is partial guarantee or completely unguaranteed for next year. You just basically, this is the best deal, actually, weirdly enough, depending on how you feel about Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga, at 21 years old, 22, going on 22, probably projects to be, you have to really, really work with him. But with both he and Moses Moody, I can't see a world in which a competent development staff with two guys devoted to it don't become, at the very least, role players. So you get two role players who are young and they're extension eligible this offseason. They haven't had the greatest careers. Maybe you get both of them on like a lower cap hit, and then you just develop them. You get a feel for them. You get them into your program, so you have better intel than you have right now when they're in someone else's program. And then you make a decision this offseason to say, okay, I think this 2021 draft class might be the most underrated, element of this entire deal, where you want to trade for guys like that who haven't performed well, because you can see how they're performing in practice, right? You can see how they're receiving information. You can project that. That's actually what makes a great general manager, a great president, is to be able to extrapolate something very like a small data set, like how a player performs in one situation, like college, G League, whatever, and to be able to expand that to a larger data set, like how will they perform as a starter in the NBA in 3 years, right? This calculation is not accurate. It's definitely art, not science always. It's both. It's like an element of there's some calculations, there's some historical precedent. This player did this, so this player can do this and whatever. But there's also like an element of variables, right, that you have to take into consideration. This player did this, but it was 2006. And because it's 2024, these other factors need to be. This is what they pay the guys the big bucks for. So I think if you have a reason to believe that Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga could thrive here, they fit what you're trying to do. So long term, they fit, and a deal centered around Pascal and Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga works for me, as long as Chris Paul's contract is not. And okay, worst case scenario, it's not. It is guaranteed next year. Congratulations, you have a $30 million expiring, and for now you have a very valuable veteran guard. The problem I have here is somehow your best chance is you want to make the playoffs, right? This is the problem. Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody don't move you closer to the playoffs right now. I think Moses Moody marginally he's an upgrade over probably some of the wings that you're playing right now. Jonathan Kuminga is barely an upgrade in terms of impact over some of the bigs you're playing right now. So he also makes a lot of mistakes. Like having Jonathan Kuminga and RJ Barrett on the same team might cause Darko to have a heart attack, mid-court. Like he might just come out to he might just faint onto the court, watching these two guys and some of the decisions they make with the basketball. But it's like at the end of the day, if these guys didn't make these decisions with the basketball, then they wouldn't be available. So you're buying low, and once again, trying to sell yourself that you can teach guys who just don't have the greatest feel for basketball that you can teach them a feel for basketball. Well, congratulations. You tried to do this with Pascal Siakam, and he still misses open cutters. And you tried to do this with OG, and he still has terrible percentages on pull-up jumpers, and he misses open cutters as well. Look, there's at some point you just have to see, like, you can't teach people how to process the game. Like, you can teach them to an extent, but you're not going to make Jonathan Kuminga Brandon Podziemski. I'm sorry. Brandon Podziemski is who he is for a reason. Jaime Jaquez is who he is for a reason. Scottie Barnes is who he is for a reason. There's no number of reps that are going to turn a Jonathan Kuminga into a Scottie Barnes. So what you would hope for is Jonathan Kuminga basically buying into becoming the best defender in the league. You sit him down and you say, dude, we don't have a fucking chance in hell defensively. You seem to be like the best athlete on our team. We need you to become a defensive player of the year for us. Can you do that? And then you have to just trust that I mean, honestly, defense is not easy to learn, but it's something you can work with him on. And he has the athletic potential and all the upside. He'd be great. Hector is saying, light the beam. Damn, why don't y'all like what we have? I just want to say for the record, I'm sure we have some Kings fans here because this is a simultaneous broadcast. This is also happening on Basketball Zone. So welcome, hello to all the Kings fans who are catching this. Make sure to give this video a like on Basketball Zone as well. Appreciate Leo coming on today. So in terms of how I feel about this deal, that's pretty much how I feel about this deal. Let's move on to the next deal and give my honest thoughts on it. Just said honest, kinda. That's deceptive, Rob. It is deceptive. The Kings deal. Okay. Why don't I like their players? I mean, I do like this deal too. I like this deal a lot for the Raptors. I didn't want to say that to Leo at the time, but I do. I like Kevin Huerter a hell of a lot more than I like some of the other. So Kevin Huerter is one of those things. Like, he is a positive player. Leo is right. He is at worst an eighth guy on a good team. He really is. He's not that bad defensively. He does rebound the basketball. You saw today, even though he's not shooting really well right now, and even though he's not the greatest defender, the most athletic guy, he makes these really quick reads. In a weird way, is he kind of like a little bit Brandon Pajimski-esque? Yes, he is, actually. He does a lot of the same stuff that Brandon Pajimski does, just he's bigger. And he's a positive player. And I promise you, like, I'm pretty sure Brandon Pajimski is going to be a better player than Kevin Huerter. But if you like one and don't like the other, I question what you're looking at. And that's funny because Vince seems to be very against Kevin Huerter and was very pro Brandon Pajimski. So I'm very curious what he saw. And maybe that's a conversation for another time. Sasha Vezenkov. De'Aaron Fox called him the best shooter he's ever seen. That's high praise. And he's a very good shooter. Watched him quite some years. Checked out a lot of tape on him when the Kings signed him. He's a big guy who can shoot. To those of you saying we didn't get a big who can shoot, he's a power forward who can shoot. Congratulations. And he's a hell of a lot better than Jonte Porter. I'll tell you that. As much as I like Jonte Porter. Harrison Barnes, another guy who can kind of be a big. You know, Harrison Barnes replaces Pascal Siakam, the version you had in the beginning of the season, basically. He is also a guy who has spent pretty much his entire career elitely fitting in as a fifth option, fourth option type of guy in very successful teams. I think it's worth noting that Harrison Barnes has pretty much been successful everywhere he's gone. I think this is the Rudy Gay trade, and ironically, it is happening with the exact same team. This is the Rudy Gay trade. This is the trade I think I would make. I didn't want to say this to Leo. I'll tell him after, but I think this might be the better trade. I know that Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga excite a lot of people. I think that Kevin Huerter plus 2 first-round picks is a pretty good haul. Actually, wait. I think they're both. Am I willing to commit that to record? Allegedly, what the Raptors want is winning right now. Okay? They want to win. None of these guys are so old. I mean, like, theoretically, how much do you know that Kevin Huerter is younger than OG Anunoby? Like, and he's a better player right now than Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. So really what you're banking on is in the next 4 years, you can bridge the gap and use their athleticism, length, size, whatever, to make up for Kevin Huerter's processing speed. You saw Kevin Huerter today. He's just passing, drawing gravity, passing. Exactly how Darko wants to play. Sasha Vezenkov, exactly how Darko wants to play. Harrison Barnes, exactly how Darko wants to play. These 3 guys were tailor-made for your offense. Now, it feels like a loss because you're giving up vastly the best player in the deal. Guess what? Rudy Gay was a better player than all the players you got back for him too. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the value in this deal is effectively Kevin Huerter and 2 first-round picks. I think Sasha Vezenkov could be a reasonable player for you. At what point are we willing to acknowledge the fact that Sasha Vezenkov is younger than Pascal Siakam? And these guys are not dead. Like, I feel like we value guys who are 22, 23 so much more than we value someone who's 25. And I get why. But I got to tell you, Precious Achiuwa at 21 was exactly the same player he is at 25 with a few additions, or 24, however old he is right now. Malachi Flynn at 22. Oh, yeah. Malachi Flynn at 26, same fucking player. It doesn't always pop for people. So if you trust your intel that you can definitely develop Moses and Kuminga, fine. If you think they're dogs and they're players, they've just been misused, I just have a difficult time believing that if there was a real fucking player in those two guys, that the Golden State Warriors wouldn't have found it. They're a very good organization. They are. They've unlocked almost every ounce of juice from every prospect they've gotten. There are very few cases of players who they've given up on where they just go somewhere else and they're just like remarkably better. That's why I think I might prefer this deal. Now, let's move on to the next deal. And now we get to this crazy Atlanta trade that we made. To be honest, I was very shocked when he offered Bogdanovic and DeJounte Murray. This might give you even more of what you just got for the Sacramento deal. I think we came away like bandits in almost all these deals. I know some people don't feel that way, but you have to actually understand who these players are. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's a GM that I spoke to that said he don't watch 30 of his own players' games. How many games are you watching of Bogdanovic that you have such a concrete opinion on who he is, or DeJounte Murray, or AJ Griffin, or DeAndre Hunter? Actually, this might be the deal because Gary Trent Jr. is probably out the door regardless. I have been very disappointed in the player that I've seen this year. He hasn't been good. Now, if you want to just say Gary Trent Jr. is your AJ Griffin swap, great. Here, you also get sureness. I think there might be something with DeAndre Hunter. I think. I don't know if the 32 games, whatever he's played this year, are real. But if they are real, he's flashing actual potential to be a role player, like a role player that doesn't kill you. Like he's a 3-and-D role player who's neither like a really dynamic three-point shooter, nor is he an overly elite defender. But he would become a better defender than a lot of the players you're playing right now and probably shore up some of your defense. He has been, Atlanta Hawks fans would tell you he's been their best defender for the last 4 years. I think Onyeka Okongwu is a little bit better than him, maybe, but there's some value there. DeJounte Murray. Is he disinterested or is he falling off a cliff? Is he paid and happy? I've known a lot about DeJounte. Probably more. I know more about DeJounte like off the court and stuff than 99.8% of the league. Like, this is one player that I really, really know a lot about. I don't think he's a guy who just gave up. I think he's in a pretty dysfunctional situation. And I wonder how he would do in a functional situation. He's a really good person. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a very unselfish guy. He also was coached by Greg Popovich, and he thrived there. He was an all-star for a pretty bad team. And, you know, if he doesn't want to be here, if that rumor is true, you know, which, again, I heard Sampson say it. I'm just repeating it. I haven't heard anything like that. But if that's true, then okay, you know, c'est la vie. But I think this deal works because I think, see, AJ Griffin does not project as a great defender, but he does have the wingspan, and maybe you can teach him up a little bit. Having AJ and Grady and RJ, and you know what I mean? Like, you're starting to get like, you got talent, you know, on the team. And Scottie, and, you know, and Koloko. Like, you're starting to really restock the coffers, but you actually have like real lottery talent. You know, AJ Griffin would have been a lottery pick had it not been for his injury. He goes 16th or 18th or whatever he went for Atlanta, and suddenly everyone's sleeping on him. But don't forget, most mock drafts prior to, you know, his injury concerns, you know, being raised up, I think they had him 6th, 7th, 8th. Most of the ones that I followed had him as a lottery pick. So, yeah, I mean, it would be splitting hairs between him and Kobe Buffkin at this point. And I guess the final deal was the Pacers one. We already talked about that. Yeah. So overall, I'm curious which deal won. Okay, we did the poll. Basically, people liked every deal but the Sacramento one, which is pretty interesting. So our poll ends with Golden State getting 35% of the vote. Indiana getting 30% of the vote, Atlanta 29%, and Sacramento 4%. 4% of the vote. Is that possibly because a lot of Sacramento Kings fans are in here and you did not like the deal for your own team? I don't know. Or maybe you watch Pascal Siakam tonight and we're like, why do we want to trade for this guy? I have no idea. I'll end this on this note. I think Pascal Siakam will be much better on his next team. I think you need to get prepared for it if he is moved. I think you're going to need to go through like crisis therapy or some sort of therapy. If you're one of those people that just thinks this guy's washed, he doesn't have any more years left. This is the player he is now. He's a one box plus minus kind of guy. He's like, he's kind of like a top 40. I'm telling you right now, if this guy dials it up in the right offense, he will be getting all the recognition for being like a top 20, top 25 guy. I think if you're another team, you have to sell yourself on two things. Number one, he's going to stay. Number two, is he going to fit? I think Taha, I'm not surprised. I'm happy keeping Siakam and maxing him in the offseason. It doesn't work. You just trade him next year without the baggage of his pending free agency. Here's the thing, man. You can't keep kicking this can down the road, because at the end of the day, you could have extended him at the beginning of the season. You could have extended him in the offseason. The problem is, if you're trying to trade him, if you're actually genuinely trying to turn the page on this core and give Scottie, IQ, etc., a chance to just build fresh, not build championship extension, Power Rangers 6, you know what I mean? Like when Jason comes back, like we're trying to do like a rebuild, like not a rebuild, like a retool, reset, whatever. And for whatever reason, having a guy who maybe doesn't fit, like, I don't know Pascal Siakam. Does he fit? Does he fit with how they want to play? Or is he having to compromise? He thrives in all the same places that Scottie does. He does, Marcus Aurelius, Sasha Vezenkov can shoot, but being Euro player, he plays zero defense. May I remind you that Rudy Gobert is a European player and Giannis Antetokounmpo is a European player, and those guys have won like several of these defensive player of the years. We can drop the Europeans don't play defense stuff now. I think that would be super great. That being said, Sasha Vezenkov is not a great defender. I'll agree with that. The top salary guy has to be Scottie. He's the big dog. No, I understand that. And I understand he's not Giannis. But simply saying he's a European player, therefore he plays zero defense, and then comparing him to a random European player who also plays zero defense is kind of weird to me. It's kind of like, what I mean? It's like perpetuating a myth or a stereotype about a certain type of person based on where they're from. And I don't think that it necessarily holds true. Right? It's like when I grew up, people always said European players were soft. Right? Jose Calderon's soft because he's European. Dirk, Bargnani, these guys are soft because they're Europeans. And now you see Luka and Jokic having to deal with the ramifications of that image, and it's not a fair image. I think if a Siakam trade actually happens, we'll say the Raptors fleece the other team. Nah, man. No, I don't think so. Sean with a great point here. Trae Young is American. He plays zero defense. Facts. Rob, what's the difference between RJ and Barnes? And Barnes is averaging same stats as RJ in his third year. I give up. I can't. I'm sorry. It's too late for this nonsense, bro. Sorry, I'm trying to read all the comments. You'd prefer Herter over Mathurin. Is this to me? If this is to me, no. Just as merely an asset, I would prefer Herter. Sorry, as an asset, I would prefer Mathurin, clearly. And I understand why, if you are, thinking this from the Raptor side, that you would need to get a high upside or high status asset. And Ben Mathurin is a high status asset. He has a lot of stuff that he does very well. He also has a lot of stuff that he does not do very well. And I think that more so than anything, I just want players who fit at this point. I want players who fit into the culture. I want players who fit into the type of basketball team we're building here. I want players who fit into the cap flexibility that we're trying to build. I don't necessarily want to stock. I want to go one of two ways. Either I want contracts that will be extremely tradable. See, like Masai and Bobby, they always give themselves flexibility. They achieve this through two means: short-term contracts or reasonable long-term contracts, right? So if, for instance, you're at the negotiation table right now with Gary Trent Jr., right? They don't mind giving him, let me guesstimate here. They wouldn't mind giving him, 2 years, $40 million as a bet on yourself type of deal where he'll become like a, expiring within a year. And so you basically have to suck up the 1 year and then it becomes an expiring. That's good cap management. The other side would be, we can give you 2 years, 40, or we can give you 4 years, 65. And to people who break it down, they'd be like, oh my God, right? They're maintaining the flexibility because years and value and math matter when it comes to team construction. Timelines matter. Championship windows matter. Now, obviously, there's something disastrous that can happen for any athlete that can make their contract an albatross, right? There's something disastrous that could happen to Steph Curry tomorrow that would make him untradeable, wouldn't there? I would never say it out loud, but of course, there is an injury or something or a scandal or jailing that can happen to any prospect or any athlete that would basically make them a zero value asset or a liability. They would take him from an asset to a liability. Rudy Gobert, right now, if something happened to him, physically, be it on the basketball court or off the basketball court, like Alonzo Mourning situation or something like that, he's now a liability. You now eat that contract. You have to buy him out. It's nothing. You traded away the lifeline of draft picks for nothing. That happens. What you want is projectable outcomes. What you want to do is, if you're signing a guy or trading for a guy, you want to if you're real, like, wow, you're so dumb. It's incredible, actually. If you really believe these things, if you're trolling, this is also very uncreative trolling. So that's it, right? We don't want to hold 4 years max on a guy that could, if he comes out next year. See, here's the thing. Here's the entire Siakam debate in a nutshell. You sign him, you have to hold on to him for a certain time. You can't sign him and then trade him the next day. So the problem with kicking the can down the road is, once that extension kicks in, like, there's a period of time from when you extend him to when you can trade him. And now that period of time is outside the window of next year's start of free agency. So re-signing him is tough. Now, if you could re-sign him on a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal, you take it. You take it. That's an asset. There's no way it's going to become a liability. Well, there's not no way, as I mentioned. There's always a way that a player can become a liability. You take it because it doesn't necessarily hamper your timeline with Scottie. Now, the worst thing that you could have, let's say, for instance, from a team building perspective, is, let's say Scottie is not done growing. And I have it on good authority that he's not even close. Okay. So let's say next year Scottie takes another jump, right? But let's say Pascal Siakam goes the other way. Let's say he has, some sort of career downturn. Now you're holding 4 years on a contract and you can't even trade it because it's 4 years. And the guy comes out shooting 12% from 3 or 18% from 3. I think more so than anything, and I'm happy I'm saying this at the back end of the live as opposed to the front end of the live, because I would get flamed mercilessly for this. I think what I'm trying to say here is that I think there's trust issues on both sides. I think from Pascal's perspective, it comes down to how they have managed Fred and how they've managed, DeMar DeRozan. Like, he was very close to DeMar. That was his first big trade. Now consider how, Scottie Barnes dealt with OG Anunoby. He's still upset about it. You can tell. So having a guy traded who basically was your vet, it can make you a little bit salty. When that guy leaves on really bad terms, now OG didn't leave on super bad terms. He didn't leave on super bad terms. He wanted a trade. So It's not that. But just imagine right now with how tight Scottie and OG are. If the Raptors went up to OG and said, we're going to give you a max this offseason, you're going to be a Raptor for life. And then OG's like, hey, Scottie, guess what? I'm going to be here next year. They just told me how much they love me. And then the next day he's gone and he's mad. And then his agent's like, they lied to him. They betrayed him. How do you feel if you're Scottie Barnes? You're like, oh shit, it's going to happen to me too. These guys are crooks. That's the problem. This is the influence that DeMar had on Pascal and Fred, in my opinion. Those were the two guys that he really, really, and they also saw Norm get shipped out. That's another guy who they were with. So they knew this was a business. They saw DeMar get shipped out. They saw Jonas Valanciunas get shipped out. You don't think like these guys were in this thing where they just kept going back and forth and back and back and back and doing this over and over and losing together. And they were together and they were a tight-knit group, man. Go watch some of the open gym episodes from those years. Oh my God, the vibes are impeccable. They kept losing, but they were impeccable. And so they make this one move that is so out of character from Masai Ujiri, where they trade away their loyal son who said he never wanted to leave. I am Toronto. I got you, all that stuff. And he's mad and he's upset and he won't talk to the president. And it's serious, man. It's serious because you have to understand how tight-knit this locker room was. And then you fire Dwayne Casey after he won Coach of the Year. So they're just like, oh my God, these guys are unhinged. They'll do anything to anybody. These guys, there's no loyalty here. But then you win a championship. But you think that just wiped it all away? It didn't wipe it all away. They spent a year processing this. Kyle Lowry wasn't talking to them for months. He ghosted them. And when he came back, he was barely talking to them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and Kyle and DeMar led your locker room. So how they felt is how these guys felt. Now you consider you've done right by all these guys after that. You've extended them. You've given them lots of money. You extended Gary Trent. You're very honest with OG about what you're thinking of. You're honest with Pascal. That's the trust issue from the player side, specifically those players. And I don't think you necessarily want those players influencing too much on Scottie, because I don't think the Raptors front office did anything out of pocket. I'm just honest. I don't think they did. When you consider what other teams do, when you hear the stories of what other teams do, I think the Raptors have been very earnest and very good to their players, even DeMar. And I hope that today, 4 years plus removed from that event, that he can look back on his behavior and say, I was wrong too. I've never heard that from DeMar. I would love if that ever came out, where he could just be like, you know what? They told me something and I took it too far. You know what I mean? This is a business. It happens. They tried to do right by me. They called him. They called him before it broke. They didn't let him find out about it on ESPN. They called him like super late. He was in a movie. They called him again and again and again. They told him, if right now, consider the Knicks' perspective on this. If right now the Knicks and the Raptors deal was almost done, and by the way, DeMar knew that he was being shopped all offseason. The only time they told him you're going to be back is when those deals fell apart. Now, consider from Masai's, okay, he's not, but okay, sure. Consider it from Masai's perspective. Right now, if you had this deal with the Knicks, OG for IQ and whatever, you go up to OG, hey man, we're probably going to trade you for IQ. Then you get a call from James Dolan and Leon Rose saying, you know what, deal's off. We fucking hate you guys. We don't want to do this deal without, you throwing in Scottie Barnes or something. They're like, this is shut up. Like this deal's over. Like we're not talking to you anymore. Or maybe they ask you like, hey, if we're going to get IQ, we need you to drop the protection on your first round pick. We need you to add something. And you're just like, no, we're done. And so you go up to OG and say, listen, our deal is off now. I think you'll be back next year. And then they come back to the table and be like, psych, take it or leave it right now. And so you make the trade and then you explain it later. But it's like, if you're looking for offense, you'll find offense in the fact they told me one thing and they did something else, not realizing what position they were in. I know Masai Ujiri, the man, from his words and from his actions, he did not want to fire Dwayne Casey. He did not want to fire DeMar DeRozan. He did not want to trade OG Anunoby. He does not want to trade Pascal Siakam. There's a human element to this for him, and I get that. Now frame it to the other side. There's a trust issue on the Raptors side too. They have had numerous issues with Pascal Siakam's performance as a leader. They expected more from him. They expected him to right the ship last year. He couldn't. They expected him to fill a void for Kyle Lowry. He couldn't. They expected him to become a elite two-way player. He hasn't. They expected him to be a leader for young players and really take them under their wing. And I don't know if he has. You never hear a player say, oh yeah, I was in the gym with him and he really showed me some stuff, or I'm with him all the time. He just feels like a lone wolf. Now, his defenders would say it's because they're trying to trade him. Why would he invest in this if they're trying to trade him? I would say they're trying to trade him because of this. That if at some point during the success of 2 years ago, or even the push last year when they traded for Jakob Poeltl and they showed some faith in this group, 3 years in a row, they have made a deal. Do y'all realize that? Norman for Gary, right? That was kind of a show of not faith, because you trade the older, better player for the younger player, showing that you have faith in the group going forward, but maybe not the older player. Then you do Thaddeus Young for Goran Dragic. So obviously you're trying to help your team because you're shoring up a need off the bench. People are very mad about that. And then last year they do Jakob for Kem. So in every case, they've upgraded the trade deadline as a vote of confidence. Now, what Siakam fans, I think, wanted them to do at some point was to trade Scottie Barnes for Kevin Durant. And this made a lot of people mad at Scottie. How dare you? You'll never be as good as Siakam. And look, we could have had a championship with Dame and Siakam, or KD and Siakam, right? Exactly. Capital Gains has hit it. Masai gave Pascal every chance to grow into the team's leader, and he didn't. So we've mentioned locker room issues, culture, leadership, toughness. That comes from your leader. I'm sorry, if your best player had those qualities, your team would have those qualities in spades. Your locker room would have those qualities. I think you need a very high usage, high minutes guy to come in and really set the tone. It's great that Garrett Temple and Otto Porter are nice guys who understand how to be professional. That's a great guiding example, but that's not moving your locker room. When you talking look, reflect on your own team. Reflect on your own team, the team that you played for. If you play basketball at any level, high school, junior, whatever, rec league, if your top player that everyone registers as a top player is the guy that you give the ball to, if he's a guy who holds the ball, if he's a guy who comes into the locker room after every single loss and blames everybody, that's the culture you're in. That's your culture, 100%. But if your top guy, your best player, defends, dives for loose balls, comes in, tries to lift people up, elevates people after a loss, really doesn't point fingers after a loss either, kind of takes it on himself saying, we'll get him next time. I need to be better. Positive energy is a very important thing, but it mostly has to radiate from the top. It can try to radiate from the bottom, but those guys, they help only so much. After the guy who's, super toxic comes in, does his stupid spiel about how everyone needs to be better but him, he can walk out, and then the veterans can be like, let's all grab some tacos and talk about our feelings. But they can't be like, fuck that guy. That's not how NBA locker rooms work. I wish that's how they worked. I wish they were flat. I wish they were so flat that a guy who plays 0 minutes could lead that locker room. You think Udonis Haslem has as much say in the Heat locker room as Jimmy Butler? He doesn't. He can have private conversations with Jimmy Butler, which can guide him on how to be a better leader. That's it. He can tell Jimmy, this time that you yelled at this player, this doesn't work. He's not like that. He's wired differently. And that's how Jimmy can change. That's the only thing that Garrett Temple can do here. Garrett Temple cannot walk into a locker room and start calling everyone out. No one will take it seriously. Trust me, this is how the human mind works. So 319 Draco saying, I think my favorite deal is Indiana or Atlanta. Yeah. I mean, cool. I don't know if I'll be very curious when Siakam is traded, if Siakam is traded, to go back to reflect on these deals. Make sure to give this video a like on your way out. I would very much appreciate it. If you can subscribe, that would be awesome. We just hit 7,100 subs. I am on my way out going to finally present our message from our sponsor, because I hadn't. And I was thinking, do I want to present it? in the middle when we were having a conversation when callers lined up. I didn't, but the Pendance Film Festival is happening February 22nd to 25th. Passes and tickets are on sale. Link in the description. Check it out. The Pendance Film Festival is happening February 22nd to 25th. It is a celebration of international films. It is a brilliant film festival in its 7th season. Prior to the COVID pandemic, it was the fastest growing film festival in the world. What is my affiliation with Pendance? What are they paying me to say this? Well, I am Pendance. I'm the festival director and founder of Pendance. It is my baby. And if you love great films, if you have a film lover in your life, this is a worthwhile event for you, happening in downtown Toronto at the Carlton Cinema, February 22nd to 25th. Make sure to check us out. Link is in the description below for tickets and passes. Tickets will go on sale soon. Passes are already on sale. Let's get to this.